Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the final day of the final Ashes Test match. At the moment, the game is sitting well and truly Australia's to lose. 249 runs required with 10 wickets in hand off the 98 overs that they are hoping to get through today, although more than likely we're only going to get to see maybe about 88 due to mainly the slower over rate that we've seen throughout these test matches. But Khawaja currently sitting with 69 runs of 130 deliveries. David Warner sitting on 58 of 99 balls. And then Wokes, we've seen him bowl 5 overs. He's only gone for the 5 runs, and we are only seeing the 3 overs from Mark Wood, but I believe we'll see a lot more today. They've talked about the fact that there's a slight delay due to the earlier rain shower that we did have. But I believe at the moment, the chances of rain for a majority of the rest of the day, it doesn't seem too likely, which is very good news. It does mean we are more than likely going to get to see a result. I hope you guys are all doing well. We have got Michelle said, hi, Hamish, bro. And now England need ODI strategy. Use it because 2 wickets fall at inside 1 hour. Australia definitely going to draw. So England want quick wickets here, says Michelle. And for Australia, I feel like they also will want to get themselves quite a few early runs on the board, mainly because I think it was Ricky Ponting before the game said, if we can see another 50 runs put on by this opening stand between Warner and Khawaja, the game is well and truly in Australia's favour. They've got some terrific batters still to come. Play will be starting at 11:10 local time, so that is in 8 minutes, so not too far away from day 5. Getting underway, who do you think will win, says Ahmad? At the moment, like I said, it's Australia's to lose. They've got a very good chance. England getting to swap that ball later on. In yesterday's play, I believe that the new ball with the overcast conditions might swing a little bit, but it's whether or not it stays swinging for long enough that England can really make the most of it. I believe spin is going to be crucial on day 5. Normally, this pitch does spin when we get later on in a test match, but the problem that they've got is the fact that there is no longer really a set spinner in Moeen Ali. Instead, they've got to use Joe Root and Moeen Ali every once in a while. And to be fair, Moeen Ali yesterday just wasn't quite bowling the way he would have liked to anyway. Ali Mar has said, hi, welcome in. You are doing very well. They are showing Captain Ben Stokes for the English. The crowd are fired up, ready for an exciting day of Test match cricket. Just quickly looking through at that weather report that I mentioned earlier on for Kennington Park, or at least the region that we are in. There's cloudy conditions that will continue all day. Wind gusts are up to 26 kilometers per hour, and they've actually taken away that rain shower that was supposed to fall at about maybe 30 past 3, half past 3 in the afternoon. It seems like now that has disappeared. And who do you think will open the bowling for England, says Ahmad? I think we will see Stuart Broad get himself a bit of a crack early. I'm not sure whether or not they will go straight to Jimmy Anderson or whether they open with Joe Root or Moeen Ali, a little bit of spin to start them off. I think Stuart Broad's got to be one of your opening bowlers here just to really, I guess, lead from the front. It's his final test match. He's almost running out onto the field there down the steps. He is keen to get this one underway as England make their way out onto the field. Hi, Hamish. Good to see you. There is a lot of rain to the east. I can't see that we'll get a result, says Peter. Although, surprisingly, the rain chance today for where they are playing is actually only 40%. Now, of course, that can change so quickly. We saw yesterday that there was a lot of rain falling, but there seems to be a lot more chance today that we get a full day's play than there was yesterday. Although I guess already we've had less than a full day's play due to that 10-minute delay at the start. And Broad wants Warner's wicket, says Hillary. And I feel like it would be a very fitting way to end Stuart Broad's career is picking up that wicket at David Warner, just because those two have had so many battles throughout the Ashes series. Stuart Broad over 600 wickets, and about 17 of them have been the dismissal of David Warner. So I'm sure he wouldn't mind making it 18 at the end of this one. But Australia, like I mentioned, some very good batters still up their sleeve, whether that is Steve Smith, maybe you look at Marnus Labuschagne, Travis Head, also Mitchell Marsh, coming in a first test match for himself of the Ashes last test, getting himself the 100. England waiting on the sideline, on the boundary rope, waiting for Australia now to make their way down. Just showing Stuart's partner, Molly, they have said, watching the last day of international cricket for Stuart Broad. And England bowling opening, we'll be doing Jimmy Anderson, says Ali Mir. There is a good chance that they give Jimmy Anderson the ball at one end, mainly because if it can swing early, he is going to be the player to discover that it's swinging. Whereas other than him, Wokes is probably the next biggest swinger of the ball for England. Joe Root actually has a ball in hand, currently doing a couple warm-ups with Jeetan Patel. So perhaps they do look at Joe Root opening alongside Stuart Broad. And yep, Stuart and Jimmy will open, I think, says Peter. And also, you are watching match on computer. I certainly am. I have got the monitor there with the game, and then this monitor is where I've got the chat. Everything along those lines. But we've just got the pre-match song for the Ashes, and then we will be ready to go. Now, Australia, I think within the first maybe 30 to 60 minutes, we will be able to determine whether they're looking to be aggressive and trying to chase down these runs, maybe within about 70, maybe even 60 overs. At the end of the day, 60 overs, they would be going at about 4.1, and I don't think that's unreasonable for Australia, definitely with these two set batsmen, both going at just over that strike rate of 50. Australia's current run rate sitting around that 3.5. So if they did keep at that run rate with the amount of runs that they need, it would use up relatively close to the full day of action. They can't afford too much rain. They are just shown cinematic. Does look like there's a little bit of grey cloud in the background, but nothing too major as of yet. Fingers crossed anyway. We will try and get the runs we want. 3-1. There's Peter. And Australia will win. Says Ali Man. England need to take wickets relatively quickly before the rain, I think. Says Peter. Just said that there was a lot of rain overnight. The rain in the morning has now disappeared. And at the moment, they are expecting a relatively full day of play. But England now, the last time we see Stuart Broad make his way out to the middle. Tell you what, a five for here or something along those lines would majorly help the English. Which is your New Zealand favourite cricketer, says Ali Mer. I'd probably go with Kane Williamson just because of his batting ability. Plays one of the best cover drives around. And it is a little bit of a shame that he is injured at the moment. Hopefully he's back soon. Mana's due for a better score today, says Hillary. I think so. I think he's been lacking a little bit in this Ashes series in terms of those massive totals that we normally see from Labuschagne. We've talked about this before. Anytime that Marnus doesn't deliver, Smith will, and anytime Smith doesn't, Khawaja gets the runs. And the beauty of the Australian first four is it always seems to be that when two of them aren't playing well, the other two are. Stuart Broad, he will be the first bowler of this day 5. We got half the prediction right. We said Stuart Broad would start. It's just that question of will it be Anderson, will it be Wokes, or will it be maybe Joe Root at the other end? I saw Root warming up, says Ahmad. And also we have got there, yep, it would be great to see Broad get a good haul on his last day, says Peter. And Baba OP says Alimir, but he's not from New Zealand. That wasn't the question. Of course, Baba Razam. I feel like anytime anyone speaks about any type of shot, everyone always says, what about Baba Razam? But yeah, seeing as he wasn't born in New Zealand, doesn't quite qualify for the question. 249 more runs to win for the Australians. Stuart Broad, it does look like it's a little bit darker than it was just before. 26 kilometres an hour wind is expected at times throughout this game. A lot of the crowd wearing the headbands in support of Stuart Broad. 15 runs he went for. That was actually almost in his first 3 overs that he bowled. And from there, he's had an extra 2 maidens. A lot of cloud around, which means maybe quite a bit of swing available here. Now, David Warner on strike. The last time, perhaps, we see these two go head-to-head. 3 slips for the English. They have also got the third man, players on, and Stuart Broad about to get day 5. The final day of the 2023 Ashes underway. The ball change could be crucial here. Stuart Broad, nice straight delivery, well blocked by David Warner. And Stuart Broad coming right down to see him by the looks of that. And as follow through, hey mate, how you going? Says Mr. Tees. I'm doing very well, thank you, mate. Hope you are the same. You play PUBG and Free Fire. I play neither of those two. Ali Mir. I haven't actually had a chance to play any games in a little while, which is a bit of a shame. But once the Ashes is over, we almost get into the World Cup warm-ups, and then that is where all my time will end up going. Yeah, if Jimmy and Stewart can get some movement and variable bounce, they are a good chance to beat us, says Peter. Second ball, outside off stump, left alone by David Warner. Like I said, there should be orthodox swing early on with this ball. In 42 overs, we will actually get to see a new ball for the English. And depending on how many wickets down Australia are at that point, will heavily depend or will heavily impact how this match ends up finishing. And hi, mate, working, listening today, says Hensel. So hopefully work's going all smoothly for you. It flies by, just like this Ashes series has. Advancing down the wicket. That's at the pad of David Warner. He was across that. Didn't look too bad for Stuart Broad. He wanted to go up for it. He was going like this, but I believe there was an inside edge. I actually thought it hit the bat and then the pad. Oh, no, inside edge from David Warner. Hello from Manchester, says John, welcome in. Just the inside edge. It was needed, although the whole slip caught and went up for it. They were excited. Oh, no, Stuart Broad, he wasn't going T. He was saying it was off the bat. And g'day from Australia, says Liam. Welcome in, mate. Enjoying the Ashes series. It has been talked about all week that Australia, they would rather win the series 3-1 than have it be a 2-all drawn one. Nice first ball to Usman Khawaja. Plays it safely off the back foot. Both of these two be relatively aggressive when there is a bad ball bowl. We saw that throughout the first innings that they were facing yesterday. England, unfortunately, just not able to pick up that crucial wicket yesterday. They're going to need a couple early today if they want a chance. I'm also a little bit worried about the fact that, I mean, they've said there's 98 overs remaining in the day, but I don't believe we'll get through 98 overs, mainly because of overrate that we have had throughout the last little while. I think some days we've even had only about 85 or 83. Dot ball there for Stuart Broad. Here's a question for everyone early on. Usman Khawaja, David Warner, which out of the two is getting their century? And which out of the two do we think will get out before the 100? Or do they both get 100? Do let me know. Lovely City Zurich. I was there in 2002, says Peter. And a nice day, 21 degrees Celsius. Says Enzel. And nice warm weather. That's a good ball from Stuart Broad. Little bit of shape. Maybe a bit of swing here early on day 5. But it will be 136 for 5. Sorry, 136 for none, I should say. And England played like zombies, in my opinion. This ridiculous baseball is just one-day cricket, says John. Although, like, it's hard to say that the batting side of things hasn't worked because, you know, a majority of the time in this Ashes series, anytime England have tried to be defensive, they've actually lost more wickets in the process rather than when they've been attacking. Although in this game in particular, there were a lot of bad shots being played, but they were able to win with Bazball in the third test. They arguably, had it not been for the rain, would have been able to win with Bazball in the fourth test. So I don't think they'll be changing the tactic anytime soon. I believe they will be keeping it because it has proven effective. It's the reason they are ranked so highly in the test match standings at the moment. Yeah, all good. I think they might both get out before they get a hundy, says Mr. T. Nice. Okay, so you're saying both of them dismissed. It's going to be Chris Wokes, actually. They're just showing the difference between the old ball and the new ball that they did have it changed to. They are showing that the old ball didn't actually have the logo still on it, whereas the new one does. What's up, you sexy bean? Says Tony, welcome in, mate. You are doing all right. That's a good pitched up delivery from Wokes, trying to create that angle across David Warner. Batting works, I think, but will fail. Also risk reward, says Hensel. And to be honest, in the series, I don't so much think it's the batters that have let down England. Sometimes it has just been the bowlers. Unfortunately, Anderson hasn't quite been up to par as he normally would be. Broad's been great at times, selection-wise for their selection wise for their bowlers. They have made a couple mistakes along the way as well. I blame the French, says John. Yes, it could do. It's going to be a nice cover drive from Warner, cut off by Stokes. Keeps it to one. Interestingly enough, it was only about an hour ago that I was actually at the cricket nets. Fun fact. I was having a bit of a bat trying to get in form before the season gets underway in a couple more months or so. So still plenty of time, but you just slowly get him back into it. Didn't get hit with the ball today, which is a massive improvement on what I had yesterday. Because, or sorry, last week I got about 5 bruises up the leg because I forgot I had a bat. So I just kind of kept getting hit. Oh, that was a good ball from Chris Wokes. And Mark says hi, says Tony. Welcome in, Mark. You guys podcasting, maybe? Is that tonight? Is it a Monday night you normally film I was about to say the rugby recap, but that is my podcast, but the 2 Cents Gets Distracted podcast on a Monday night. This is a very large bottle of water. It's grown since last time. Anyone might realise? Very big bottle. It'll be gone by the end of. Oh, that's close. I'm giving it out, but the umpire's not. Nah, he's cool, calm, and collected, the umpire. That's why I'm never an umpire. And yep, just finished filming, so hopefully it all went well. Everyone is looking forward to seeing it on about Wednesday. I think they'll go upstairs for this. Oh, they're saying it's down league. I gave it out. Just saying. It's probably not out, but could be. I blame Man United, says John. And Go Australia, says Immortal Wolf. England needs some new blood, says John. Or, it might be outside. And may have also missed off stump. So I might have just been excited. I think was the case there. Usman Khawaja looking very calm, even though all of England were going up for the appeal. Wokes, he's got the line right early here. Trying to get it to move across towards that slip cordon. And bum Fluffy with a wave. Says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. A pity we couldn't load up a photo. Otherwise, I'll show you how beautiful it is where I am in Norway. Says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. So you guys will be in summer, won't you? Up in most of the northern hemisphere, maybe? We are a bit chillier down south. We're sitting about 6 degrees Celsius at the moment, which isn't actually too bad. That's quite a warm evening for us down here. But Stuart Broad chasing after that one. Thought about going for the 2, but they won't get there. Into the over 138 for none. So just the 2 runs off that one. Khawaja moves up to 70. Warner moving up to 60 also. I think Ricky Ponting's a bit concerned about the ball being changed yesterday. And corrects his Enzo, and I again says Luke, welcome in, mate. Ricky Ponting not happy with the ball change. And this one feels that maybe the ball was a little bit too new. Anderson and Broad are great. I need to go now, says John. Well, luckily, Stuart Broad, in your case, he is retiring after this test match. So he must have heard you. Here comes Stuart Broad. Straight delivery, nice drive from Usman Khawaja. This is going to be at least 2 runs as he has got the on drive. Timed it well. Thrown from the deep from Ben Stokes. Brilliant throw and keeps it to the 2 runs. Hey, Mumbo, where are you in Norway? I was there a lot in 2001, 2002. I lived in Bergen for 3 months. Here's Peter. I think my sister might be visiting Norway soon. She's on a tiki tour around Europe. I know she's been to London. She's been to Scotland, Ireland. Not sure where else she's been yet, but I think she goes to about 30-something countries. Ooh, having to dig that one out, Usman Khawaja. So, yeah, Norway might be one of them. A great prison system in Norway, says Fluffy. Is that spoken from experience or just from what you've read, Fluffy? of 104. Where is she now? Says Luke. I think last I saw, she was in Scotland. She was looking for the Loch Ness Monster. I think that was part of the tour. They had to try and find it. She didn't find it, surprisingly. What we got? I'll check her Instagram story. That's the best way of doing it. No. Nice drive there. Where's this? She's in Cork. 15 hours ago, she was in Ireland. I don't know if she's still there, though. Quick hello, says Fleshin. And also, we over there rather not say, says Fluffy. And Norway is a very beautiful country. I did the tour of the fjords on the west coast. Amazing, says Peter. Seen a few dot balls early on in this day, but I think the big one for England is they don't really care about the dots. They care about the wickets. And with the amount of clouds in the background, there is a high chance we see some rain, maybe only for about an hour throughout the day. Or short ball, Khawaja tried to hook it to the leg side. A little bit too far outside off stump, though. I lived in Sun and now on the Arctic Circle. Odu, is it? Odu? Maybe. I took a train from Bergen to Stockholm, one of the most beautiful train trips in the world. And we have got there, I did a tiki tour in a Holden, or in a Holden, is that maybe? Yes, though. Have they had any chances here, England? I can't think of any at this point that they have drop catches or anything along those lines. Advancing again, Usman Khawaja, use of the feet. Trying to stop the chance of an LBW plus to get to the pitch of the ball. Stop it from swinging as a mirror of Wellington, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. So it's quite windy, maybe, I would assume. And Stokes still shining that ball frantically, trying to get the most out of it for the next 40 overs before they change it. Who do you think will win now, says Luke? I think Australia are in the box seat here. I've got a man deep now on the leg side, which makes me think Stuart Broad might either have a double bluff here or he is going to be banging it into the track. It is pitched up outside off stump and another very good ball, but that will be the end of the over. 140 for none. Or a tie, says Luke. If it does start raining, I believe a draw could be a relatively likely chance, but if not, I think that it is going to be Australia that is able to get themselves the win, unless England can pick up some very quick wickets and go to Vegas on the weekend. Says Mr. Tees. Be sure not to lose all your money because that can happen in Vegas, unfortunately. I wonder what the rain report locally says compared to my one. Whether or not they're saying that other regions of London it is actually raining. Oh, that's close. But once again, maybe just outside of leg stump, and Warner may have just got back to it also. But this is a very, very good battle that will be taking place. The Wokes angle across. Tell you what, that wasn't too bad from Chris Wokes in terms of angle. No, I don't think Warner got that one. I think he ended up in the scenario there of it hit both legs, which is why there was a bit of a dudoof sound. I got a 384 though for Australia. That's the edge. And could it be Warner's dismissal it's given? And that will be the first wicket for the English of the day. It's only taken about 3 overs, but that Wokes angle has been immense. It's been a tricky one, and Warner now dismissed for 60 of 106 deliveries. That changes a lot in this test because that now means that Australia theoretically, if they lose Usman Khawaja, there's still a long way to go. They need another 244, which is only 50 less than they did actually get in their first innings. And that as well, Hammy, Bergen is awesomely hilly. With terrace houses like Wellington, the difference is the amazing waterfalls within the city. There's Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. I like Bergen much more than Wellington. I was in Wellington in 86. It's probably changed a little bit since then, though, Peter, I would say. Oh, they need to pick up Khawaja now, says Peter. Yep. He's going to have the next big chance. And forgot New Zealand was a minute behind everyone else. Oh, you had Tata Warner. Luckily, I didn't see it before the wicket. So we are all good in that regard. But yeah, we are normally delayed. The worst thing is, we're not watching on Sky Sport now, which means it should actually be that little bit quicker anyway, but it still is quite far behind. Yeah, Warner gone. Big wicket early on day number 5. I would have loved to see how much that actually changed the odds in terms of what they were beforehand, percentage wise. Who's in it is going to be Marnus Labuschagne. So they are sticking to the same order that they normally would. But Usman Khawaja at that other end as a left-hander, and alongside him, they've got a few other left-handers still to come. I'll be looking at that going, okay, maybe we don't want Wokes' angle across us, but Wokes has been bowling very well. 6.2 overs, 1 wicket, and only the 7 runs off him, making it very hard to score. Kathakia has said, hey, welcome in. Right, what does Wokes do now? They were showing highlights of a Stuart Broad hat trick from back in the day after he announced his retirement. Is this now going to be hat trick chance for Wokes? Tell you what, that would have been worth an LBW shout if Labuschagne had missed. How Warner got out, it was the outside edge through to the keeper, nicely taken by Johnny Bairstow, but it was pitched up, had a little bit of seam movement and off the outside edge. And while Hamish, I was in Wellington a lot in the late 90s as well, but only relatively short trips. In 86, I was there for a month. So here's Peter, and also we have got there, I do night jet spraying and a salmon processing plant. It's a 30 to 40 boat ride. Oh, that was a noise, I thought, but just past the outside edge of Marnus Labuschagne. They're going to want to keep Wokes out there bowling as long as physically possible. I told you they are not getting to the 100. Next one to get out is the guy on 72. He will not get the ton, says Mr. T. So Usman Khawaja. Great delivery from Chris Wokes. Very close. Talking about the movement. I believe that. That's the thing. If they do end up getting a lot of wickets due to the swinging newer ball that they did get, I can tell you already that there are going to be a few people talking about that switch. What is night jet spraying? Mumbo, says Real Peter. We basically clean all the machinery, convoy or convey and belts, etc. We'll go like this. The coverage closed itself. Okay, we'll have to log into our TVNZ account, apparently. Interesting. Kick this out halfway through. I have to hope there is no wicket falling now, or else that would be quite sad. I got to remember my password. Look. Yep, Norwegian salmon is heavenly and best I have ever eaten. I actually have a piece of salmon in my fridge. I don't think it's Norwegian, though. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to ask it where it was from before they put it in a packet. That'll be the end of the Wokes over. 141 for 1 now. That changes things in this test match. Who do you think will win this? Well, I thought Australia, but the fact that they lost that early wicket now makes me think maybe England's starting to take that little bit of momentum back. 244 runs is still quite a bit, but not impossible. If they can keep Usman Khawaja building up a partnership with Marnus Labuschagne, I believe Australia should still be able to get over the line. Can you tell me the lotto numbers, Mr. Tees? I said you could see into the future, says Fluffy. And I'm on an island. But we also have a ferry ride from the famous Lofoten, a popular skiing area. And Usi, I will probably get 10p. 10p, says Luke. Is that 100 maybe? 100, says Luke. Oh, those dark clouds in the background are concerning, though. I think they're a little way away. But it has now got quite overcast, which would actually benefit benefit England for a little bit here due to the swing. A good ball from Stuart Broad again, outside of off stump, trying to get Manus Labuschagne pushing at it. The big thing here is Khawaja, due to that last wicket falling, I now get that slight feeling that he's going to go a lot more defensive. And that will mean that the runs theoretically may dry up for Australia, which does mean if we see more wickets falling, maybe that starts to get them a little bit further behind, more behind than they would have liked to be. And how does a Kiwi end up in Bordeaux? Yeah, living on an island off the coast of Norway would be really nice. Says Peter, and it didn't let me type 100. Says Luke there. Okay, so we've got some people thinking Usman Khawaja will get the century. We've got others saying that he won't. What about Labuschagne? Do we think he will be able to go through and get himself 50 runs? Currently on one, so 49 to go. Sitting on one run off 6 deliveries. Pat Cummins looks like he's having, it looks like a ham and cheese croissant for Pat Cummins. Sounds all right. Nicely played again. Solid off the back foot, or solid off the front foot that time for Khawaja, sorry. Have to pick up Khawaja quickly. They are on the front foot. Says Peter on 42. That is very specific, but very possible at the same time. 141 for one, 42 for Marnie, says Luke. Okay, so you're saying Khawaja top run scorer of the evening, or sorry, of the innings, Luke, or do you think someone else down the order will get themselves a few extra? Okay, it's not given out. I thought I liked it, but it might have just swung a little bit too much. And also, I think maybe Marnus even got some bet on that. That has moved a long way for Stuart Broad. No, he didn't get bet on it. Maybe height. Marnus looks awful, says Fluffy. He's just getting some very good deliveries off the get-go from England. They're really targeting not just his off stump, seeing whether or not he's willing to go after it a little bit wider. Be prepared just in case you're called to replace Shane Van Gisbergen for next year. I don't think that'll be the case. I think my GoPro cricket, oh, sorry, not my GoPro cricket, my GoPro go-karting that we did have where I ended up getting run into like 4 times, that will probably put them off me driving. 56% chance now that England will win this test match. 35% chance for Australia and 9% for the draw. And the swing will change the game. Says Enzo, exactly right. This new ball or the switched out ball seems like it's doing so much more than the first one that Australia were facing. And night jet spraying, are we dressed up like Oompa and water spray hot water under high pressure? Clear the entire factory machinery from the day's processing, conveyor belts, etc. Mumbo Jumbo, that's coming a long way. Okay. That's close, isn't it? That felt real close to me, is what we've just heard from Stuart Broad. It's coming a huge amount. If it hits them in line, it's in with a crack. Do they go upstairs? They've got 3 reviews, and it's Marnus Labuschagne. They will check this one. And yep, movement plus variable bounce on the 5th day gives the Ponds a very good chance. So the thing that will save Marnus here is hit outside the line. Other than that, maybe it moved too much. Original decision is not out. This could be another big wicket here for the English. Did Marnus get himself just outside of the line? Yes. Yes, he did. So I believe that that's not going to be coming back enough. But also with the angle and the height, it might actually be a poor review from the English. Going to get to see it here. Impact outside of the line. The review is lost by England. And that will be a disappointing one for them because normally they are pretty good, definitely with Stuart Broad in terms of that decision making. We smoke a diet gutted salmon on the barbecue. How's that? Says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. And Uzi will head, but Head might have a good day, says Luke. It came in a long way. Stuart Broad's partner thought that it was close. Okay, I understand that's not a great job. It's a great place to have a job, Mumbo. Says Peter. I mean, it's an important job, though. At the end of the day, Like some jobs, they may not sound fun on paper, like you might really enjoy it. And it's one of those ones you just gotta dig in, get your job done. Probably do you at least get a discount on the price of salmon, mumbo jumbo? Because if not, then I feel slightly bad that they wouldn't allow that. In fact, if you know the conversions, mumbo jumbo kiwi, salmon costs in um, there compared to New Zealand in New Zealand dollars, is it a lot cheaper over there for salmon? Do let me know. A man whole smoked salmon on the barbecue. Yep, that would be great. Says Peter. Now Wokes only gone for the 8 runs of his 7 overs. That's very close. That's given out by the umpire, and now Chris Wokes, he's claiming that one. It doesn't even seem like Khawaja's going to consider reviewing. The only thing that will save him here is if it's pitching outside of the line, but this seems like England at the moment are on an absolute rampage here in the early stages. He has reviewed it. Pitching outside line, like I said, the only thing that could be saving it here. It's pitching on leg stump, I believe, and I believe it will be hitting the wickets. It's whether or not it's pitching enough on leg stump. They're just checking. It's very close to the bat. No bat on the ball, though. Is this going to be a massive wicket here for England? This could be 2 in a row in the early stages of the day. It's pitching in line, coming back. 3 reds, and Usman Khawaja is now dismissed. England sitting 2 wickets today from Chris Wokes, and Khawaja on his way. That now means that we've got Marnus, Labuschagne, and Steve Smith at the crease. This is only 25 or so minutes into the session, and already England have been able to pick up 2. A wobble seam delivery, they're saying, from Chris Wokes. Went straight, trapped Khawaja, and Ben Stokes gritting his teeth. He is absolutely loving the early stages of the day here, but 141 for 2, massively changing. Cummins on the weather app says Fluffy, yeah, he'll be just checking to see what's happening. There's a slight bad feeling that I've got. It's a gut feeling that makes me think England are going to pick up a whole heap of wickets here, and then the rain is going to once again peek its head around at the Oval. I was in London for a spell and got bored. So one day I said to myself, bugger this, I'm off. Drove in my camper over a month over continental EU and up Norway. Says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Well, the Bombs making the comeback on the front foot, says Peter. Exactly right. Those 2 set batsmen from yesterday who had 135 or so run partnership now have 2 wickets early. Chris Wokes 2 for 8 off 7 overs. They need a 15-over spell from him, and Australia will be in real trouble, or more trouble than they already are. Although the question is it just to the left-handers that Wokes is going to find a success? And Aussie 2, England 1, rain 2, says Hensel. But Chris Wokes, he's got the crowd fired up. Smith, that one came back in off the seam, but well blocked by the Aussie veteran. And that's just saying it's one thing changing the ball, but it's another thing using that change. This ball is swinging a mile compared to the one that we did see yesterday, but that seam was actually what was presented by Chris Wokes that allowed that wicket. Who is the favourite now? Ahmad has asked. It's still England. Believe it or not, after that last wicket fell of David Warner, England were about 60% likely to win this test match. I believe now it's up to about 65. The draw becoming less likely, although Australia, they will have a few quiet overs here, I would be thinking. I think Steve Smith just asked Marnus Labuschagne to step to the side a little bit more at the non-striker's end. He felt he was too close to the pitch, so he's now about 57 metres off to the side. Oh, no shot played by Steve Smith. Hits him on the pad, outside of the line, but also left on length. I've got this job through the word of mouth. They then transferred me up to Bordeaux over Christmas. The snow was heavy, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. I think that's one of the first time I've seen a ball hit a leg or a pad or anything like that when the player didn't go for a shot and no one's appealed. Normally, no matter where it is, everyone still screams. David Warner's got his coffee on the sideline. He has done what he is able to for this test match off the outside edge of the batter, Steve Smith. And that'll be 4 runs to close out the Wokes over 145 for 2. Do you think England will put Root on from the other end? Not yet. I think Stuart Broad will continue his spell for that little bit longer, just because he seems to be partnering quite nicely with Chris Wokes. If they can get 2 more overs out of Broad, I'm sure they'll be more than happy. Plus, we've got to remember Broad picked up Labuschagne for that golden duck in that first innings of the Ashes Test. Good afternoon, Kiwi lads from the cold Cape Town, says Ruth. Welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. And when I was in Oslo in 2001, they had 6 feet of snow one night. It was unbelievable for a boy. Never saw snow in his entire life. Says Peter, when will Anderson bowl? I think they'll wait a little bit longer. Although now that we're seeing movement, it does mean if they did go to Jimmy Anderson eventually, he might find some success. The same can be said about Mark Wood. I believe he could be a good option here. Believe it or not, the spin that seemed to be so important today is not going to be the most important thing just yet. Shorter ball from Stuart Broad, banging it into the surface. It's only been going for 2 runs and over as well. Cape Town will be there in a month, 2 or 3 weeks. Hope weather better by then, says Enzel. The job is challenging indeed and the hours demanding, but it suits a Kiwi that doesn't speak Norwegian yet. It pays well. I have awesome plans now. I want to buy a yacht, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. And been working whole weekend, having some hot chips with chili sauce for lunch. Said, big yawn from him. He will be the next man to the crease. He will have to certainly wake up by the time he makes his way to the middle. Watching the ball going to be crucial throughout this little patch of the game. For the Australians, beautiful movement there from Stuart Broad again. The fact that was the first time I ever saw snow fall, and the local Norwegians couldn't believe a grown man never seen snow. Oh, lol, says Peter. And that one would have been, once again, a very good LBW shout, although it's extremely hard to hit Marnus's pads without him getting a little bit of bat on it first. 235 runs. Only got the 10 or 15 runs for today. All down the leg side. That one's taken off, and that will be 4 runs. I don't think Marnus got any bet on it, so it will be given as buys. And yeah, that's a tough job, hard labour, but it's a beautiful place to have it. And yes, they pay well in Norway. Says Peter. Yeah, that one's hit something on the surface and just almost propelled at about a 45-degree angle. But a variable bounce could be in. Looks like at the moment England looking to bring in an extra slip, or in fact, no, they've added a gully, which they did not have originally. With this angle from Stuart Broad, trying to get the ball to move across Marnus Labuschagne. Shot. Beautiful cover drive. Exactly what he needed to build a bit of confidence there for Marnus, and that will now be the 150 on the board for the Australians. Getting closer to halfway there, but still a mountain to climb to get the win in this test match. Hamish, whatever happened to this Ashes series? Had Tempest crazy stuff. Cummins even wanted to resign. Broady retiring, says Roof. I think it's been definitely an Ashes series to remember. We always see a lot of action throughout the Ashes, but this one's had a real tense feel, but it's also had a close feel to it. Seemed like in most of the matches, either side could have walked away victorious. Again, the in-swinger from Broad has come a long way inwards. And good if these two can put on an 80 to 100 together, just to keep it interesting and a little close, says Hensel. Yeah, that seam movement, very handy for Stuart Broad at this current point in time. When I lived in Bergen, I used to go to the fish market and buy fresh fish directly from the fleet. And man, it was good fish, says Peter. They need to get the total under 200 at least, says Fluffy. Yep. Because we need to remember Australia in their first innings only got 295 runs. And this pitch historically has been harder to bat on as the test match rolls forward, mainly because of that spin factor, but also at the moment, that seam and the swing that we are just starting to see from England is making it extremely difficult. As well, I haven't made that comparison, Hemi, but it's still expensive locally. The smart guys go out fishing. So much mackerel, salmon, safe, which is very delicious. I like flesh fish, but like eating kiwi. Says Mama Jumbo Kiwi. And also, we look at the sea run kiwi yum. Says Fluffy. I can imagine Aussies coming back stronger. Warner and the rest need to go back to the practice nets. Wasn't good. Says Ruth. And you back in. There's been 2 wickets, says Flesh. And yeah, from the start of the day, when it seemed like, okay, Australia are going to try and slowly breeze to this, to now sitting with 2 new batsmen at the crease, it's heating up a little bit. And Chris Wokes, he has been bowling very well. That one's over pitch, though. Brilliantly worked by Marnus Labuschagne out through mid wicket, or almost more towards the long on. It's going to be 4 more runs for Marnus. And it seems like he is willing to try and put away the bad ball, almost a half volley from Wokes, just a little bit over pitched, and Marnus saw that opportunity to hit it out through the leg side. That's nice. That's the shot I want to learn how to play, but I play it terribly, which is why I've been going to the net so much. I don't have any scoring shots on the leg side in the arsenal, so I need to try and add a couple more by the time the season starts up. Things are expensive in Norway because of the high salaries. The oil money drives the economy, says Peter. Okay, so they are talking about the changed ball after Usman Khawaja got hit is when it actually ended up getting switched out. And the ball is certainly doing a lot more now for the English, that is for sure. They are expecting to try and get through 90 more overs in the day. I can guarantee you right now that is not going to be happening. There's not enough time left. I could not believe how much things cost in Norway, but I was getting paid euro a day, and I paid no income taxes, so it didn't matter. Says Peter. Michael Atherton just saying that the shots that they are showing, they're showing the rough side of the ball compared to the swinging side. So perhaps that's why the balls look so different. The leg side from Marnus, straight out to the man at mid wicket. Just showing those 2 wickets that Wokes was able to get to himself as well. And they have been very effective early on today, England, pitching that ball up. Khawaja, they've just said for the second time in the match, the LBW. Don't think it's been as effective to the right-handers, though, for Chris Wokes as of yet. I'm trying to explain cricket to a Spanish bar owner. The problem is I don't understand it myself, says Fleshin. It is actually, it's a relatively tricky one to explain, but once you know what's happening, it makes a lot more sense. So I guess if I had to describe it very briefly, 6 balls, well, that's the thing, there's so many variables. I was going to say 6 balls in an over, try and get more runs than your opposition before you lose 10 wickets. That would be my explanation. It probably would confuse them even more. Ooh, French cut there from Marnus Labuschagne. Moeen Ali, little bit of football skill down on the boundary. He has got a bad groin. The manages to jog around and cut it off with the foot without bending over. And my sound on my phone is up rubbish at the moment. I'm watching your expression and lips moving, lip reading. Hamish rocks the ashes. Always energetic and upbeat. There's Ruth. Trying to think if I know any sign language. That's A. That's G, I think. That's goat. Maybe. So I don't know whether a goat is a handy thing to be able to sign. Looks like Jimmy Anderson now making his way from the field. And we get to see a change of Mark Wood now coming into the attack. So no centuries to Warner and Khawaja. Yep, both of them dismissed beforehand. And Hyle says Hanoi. Not, you can tell I'm mixed European, but Kiwi born and bred in Okakuni, or Ohakuni, I should say. 3 overs for Mark Wood yesterday. Went for 16 runs, so a little bit more expensive outside of off stump. I'm the real Arctic monkey. Says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi, 137 Ks. That is actually, I think, one of the slowest balls we've seen Mark Wood bowl. I'm wondering whether or not there is some sort of injury there. Maybe that's why he was so far in between bowling yesterday. An upbeat Bok. I only just made it. Pumas look dangerous. All Blacks showed their power in their class. He's a fluorescent adolescent. Says Fluffy. Those are a couple big words, but they roll off the tongue quite nicely, don't they? Oh, that was straight from Mark Wood. A little bit quicker. They will be looking for the 2 runs, and they will take it. Brilliant running from Australia. And once again, only 137 Ks for Mark Wood. So it seems like at this stage, he just hasn't quite fired up the way we would normally see. He's got to get into the 140s though. I feel like the fact that he isn't bowling 150 or he isn't even bowling 145 is kind of making it nullified that he is bowling, just because he's not normally known as a swing bowler. He's not known for moving the ball a huge amount, although he was getting a little bit of swing in one of the other games. The boys were slag, the best he ever had. Says Fluffy. Shot from Steve Smith goes straight out to Moen Ali, who fields well at cover. Again for Mark Wood, only around that 139. And well, you will make good money doing that job for a few years. Maybe get a desk job. It's an amazing place to work. Great to meet you there. Says Peter. It's also the different types of the game that's a problem. True. So I guess test match goes for about 6 hours 5 times. T20 few hours, and then ODI less. I did say Warner and Khawaja will do good. Says Fatima. Oh, that had some steep bounce for Mark Wood. 88 miles an hour right now. He's starting to get up to the speed that he needed. Yeah, they both created, I guess, a good base for the Australian side, getting about that 130 plus run partnership. Now it's going to be up to Smith and Labuschagne to re-anchor this innings. Still another 222 runs needed. Smith saying there was a bit of pop there. Mark Wood trying to hide his smile. Charging it again. Ooh, yeah, no, there's a bit of swing there for Mark Wood. Bit of a way swing that time, only 85 miles an hour. And perhaps he is trying to bowl slightly slower so that that ball does swing rather than full on pace. But we see there Ollie Pope, also Jack Leach is there in the front row, just looking on. Ollie Pope not playing in this game due to that shoulder injury. Leach not being selected. It seems there's some cashed up Kiwis in Norway. Says it always sounds that way, doesn't it? Like Norway's the place to be. Smith still on strike. Ooh, he almost got lured into playing that one, but leaves it. What does he want now? He wants a new. Does he want new gloves after 11 balls for Steve Smith? Or I'm not sure what he's calling for, but he's only been out there about 15 minutes. And when you think about overrate and how we can't get through 90 overs in a day, now you look at something like that. Yeah, he wants new gloves, Steve Smith. Doesn't like these ones. 11 balls was too many wearing them for him. It's always nice when you have a sponsor. No worries. But I did want to get away from banking. I worked for Merrill Lynch Investment Banking several years. I don't like the office environment. I'm an outdoorsy Kiwi. Mumbo Jumbo. And if they pick one up of these two cheap before they get settled, it's really on, but the rain radar is looking bad. Says Peter. Right, Wokes will continue his spell. Marnus on strike. Nicely played. Goes out to Jimmy Anderson, who has now made his way back onto the field. They may look at relatively short stints here between Anderson and Mark Wood and Maori Vikings, says Fluffy. Any local rugby clubs in Norway? I think there's a few from what I've heard. A little bit of local rugby there. Of course, not really too high up in the ranking side of things for Norway, but I think for a lot of countries, the best avenue to go into is sevens, mainly because I guess for one, you need less players, and then you get into that sevens circuit. It's always awesome seeing clubs grow throughout the year. Outside of right length at the moment from Chris Wokes, tempting Marnus into playing the shot. It does look like it's gotten slightly darker. We'll have another look at the rain radar just to check what it is saying. Cloudy conditions will continue all day. Wind gusts up to 31 kilometers an hour. So it's supposed to be a little bit breezier, but there is now no sign of rain for at the Oval, it would seem. It's going to be a no ball from Wokes. Can't afford too many of those. Of course, he lost his fifer in the first match due to a no ball. Managed to bring it back and get it anyway. Cricket teams in Norway, the Norwegian Super Salmons, maybe, says Fluffy. Smith and Labuschagne both going around that strike rate of about 50. Oh, great ball again. Okay, yeah, office jobs have their own bad points. I've always worked office jobs, but it's easy on the body in the end. I like the outdoors as an Aussie, says Peter. I've noticed from doing YouTube that my back is absolutely destroyed now from sitting on this chair for hours and hours on end, slouching down a little bit as well. Like anytime I get up, I look like I'm about 65, which isn't ideal seeing as I am only 23. But what happens, we've done 2,500 videos slash streams on the channel. We've probably sat in this chair for a total of maybe, I don't even know. I think I did some calculations and we had sat here for like a full year of 24-hour periods through doing the live streams. So, yeah, probably not recommended. I might have to get a standing desk at some stage. See if that goes a bit better. Wokes was it a little bit too short and whipped off the pads by Labuschagne for the single. So it's been a little bit more expensive now, Chris Wokes. He was sitting 7 runs off his 8 overs, or 8 runs off his 7 overs, sorry. And now he is sitting 20 runs off his 10 overs. And rugby only in Oslo. Miss going to the pub for the cricket and the rugby. How many overs we had today? About 10, isn't it? They are scoring a lot slower than some were anticipating. All the call of no. Smith wanted the single. I don't think he would have got through for it though. That'll be the end of the over. 164 for two. Yep, Hamish. He used to do 12 to 14-hour days, 13 days a fortnight. I had a wife and 4 kids to pay for. I have a bad back. Says Peter. Yeah, I think luckily playing a little bit of cricket during the week, and I've been trying to be a little bit more active when it's not the weekend. So hopefully that will slightly help in terms of keeping the body moving. Yeah, we're going down to the cricket nets tomorrow, I believe, during the day, just to have another session. Played some decent shots today, although unfortunately, league side's still not my forte. As you guys know, I can't play league side to save myself. I'm hoping that that will improve in the future, but for now, I just get hit on the pad multiple times in a row. Yep, rugby not big in Norway, neither is cricket, says Peter. Whereas we're talking Oslo or you're talking, I assume you're not talking Oslo. Oz is normally the summary of Australia for us Kiwis and Aussies. I was born in Wagga Wagga. Mark Taylor is a pal of mine. His sister was in my class. We played in the same league in the juniors, says Peter. Currently Labuschagne, sitting 13 of 28. think if he is able to play a couple more of those nice shots that he played earlier on in the innings, where he played his cover drive and the whip off the pads, he'll find himself a lot more confidence. He'll be in for a big score. Just showing the original ball versus the new ball. And from the other angle, it still shows that that new ball is a lot nicer looking than the original. Well, some big sport name. I came out of that town. Fluffy. A movement. Again for Mark Wood. On the 138 case. Wondering whether or not playing his third Ashes Test match in a row is starting to really take a toll on Mark Wood. His pace is a little bit down. Tyson has said go Australia. And they've still got the 8 wickets up their sleeve, but 220 runs still required on the board for the Australians to chase down. Now, if they were going at 3 runs and over, I would say we will just get a result. If there's any rain, though, Australia would have to ramp it up a little bit closer to that 4 runs per over to get the job done. Played again by Marnus. Just getting on. And she would have been a good bats girl, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. And also, Fluffy, actually, I was on love with another girl, so Tina Taylor and I were actually friends because I didn't want her to be my girlfriend. She was well developed, let's say, says Peter. Doesn't Nathan Lyon live in Wags now too? Maybe. Well, that's the thing. He's going to spend a lot more time if his injury is as serious as it seems, and he's going to be out for quite a bit of time. He'll probably spend a lot more time at home. That one's taken off from Mark Wood. That's gone over the top. It's a wide, so it will be 5 runs now for the Australians. Australia will win, or it will be a draw, says Fatima. Does seem like the likely two, unless, of course, like mentioned earlier on, I think it might even be, was it you, Fatima, earlier on, who said if there was 1 or 2 more quick wickets, could end up being a different story? And there were a lot of boys who wanted to play with Tina Taylor, says Peter. Yeah, bouncer just way too short, almost out of the shot from side on. 2 balls remaining in his over, though. Again, pitched up outside off stump. His radar's just a little bit off for now. Can you do a lineup prediction for Samoa versus Tonga? Says Tyson, as in for both teams, Tyson, or just for the Samoans in that one? We were actually going to be doing that for the Fiji versus Samoa game, but it's very hard to predict those ones because of how many changes both sides are willing to make, mainly because I don't think they're going with their strongest sides in some cases. Like Samoa may consider going with the strong team just to have a little bit more of a chance of finishing higher up. Are there some cracks in the pitch as well? Says Peter. It does seem to be off the edge. It's taken by Crawley and Labuschagne gone. Mark Wood has got one right, and Marnus now gone. That is a great take from Zach Crawley. Marnus slowly walking off the field. I think he's hoping there's going to be a no ball here from Mark Wood. But the 3rd wicket of the session in the first hour, back of the length. Great take from Zach Crawley, straight into his hands. Brilliantly taken. And hello, Hamish Bro says, Michelle, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well, Mark Woods. Feel like for his confidence, he needed that wicket. And now that means Travis Head will be making his way to the middle. But Australia, they do lose themselves. Marnus, 13 runs off 33 balls and 169 for 3. It's been a grumpy Ashes. Those Aussies will be glad to get back to down under. Our Pommies were also looking weary. Says Ruth. We have got, yes, Mumbo, to Taylor. In our year, so all the boys wanted to talk to her, says Peter. That changes things again. 3 wickets for the English in just this game. just this morning. They had 35 overs or 38 overs where they weren't able to pick up a single wicket. The ball has changed, and now those wickets are falling consistently. Well, the Poms have the upper hand. Time to pray for rain. There's speed, although it's still very early, of course. 215 runs required. Just a big partnership needed for Australia somewhere along the lines. But Travis Head, the tactic has been to bowl short to him. Now, I'm noticing something about Travis Head here. He has got a pretty new looking bat, but one of the cherries that are on that bat are on the side. And that is an outside edge that Travis Head has had with that bat. That, see, as a batsman at international level, I feel like seeing that on my bat would make me very concerned because that means that that one's one that you have edged, and that could be possibly what causes him to get out. If he does get out to an outside edge of a pitched up ball, that wouldn't be funny, but it would in a little tiny way because of that cherry. And great commentary. Many thanks for doing it, says Mashup. No worries at all. Currently sitting 11:07 p.m. here in New Zealand. I believe the first session will be going for another hour or so. Your channel has monetized. How are you ending? Says Alimir. How am I ending? I'm planning on ending at the end of the day, if that's the question. But I'm not sure if it is for that one. And want to work in Norway, come see me. All you need is the right documents, which I probably do not have. Nurses here get good money, doing my best to bag one. Said Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Ooh, that came back in a little bit. I'm noticing every time there's a wicket, the weather seems to just get that little bit darker. The rain isn't supposed to be falling as of yet. And in fact, it's not actually supposed to be falling for most of the day here. Makes me concerned. I hope that this one isn't also affected by rain. Oh, that one's moved for Chris Wokes. And Hamish Bro, I'm waiting for your next video of cricket net sessions and match against your local youth team. I really enjoyed that. Please, Hamish Bro, more videos do it for our subscribers. Says Michelle. I think the next one, it's slightly edited, but the slight problem I've got is I do have to try and cut someone pretty much completely out of the video, which is going to be a very long, drawn-out process. So, yeah, it might still be a few weeks till that next one does come out, but I'm hoping to release probably about 3 or 4 more before the season starts, which is in a couple months. And howdy, Hamish, the Kiwi lads. Good evening, night, or morning to everyone, says Nate. Welcome in. Have you got work tonight or during the day, Nate? Can't quite remember what your schedule for Monday looks like. But if you're at work, hopefully it is flying by. And also, yes, Norwegian girls are very pretty. One of the girls I worked with was an 11.5 out of 10, says Peter. But England with a 77% chance of winning this test match now. Wokes pitching it up. It's lofted, but Steve Smith goes over the fielders and gets 4 runs. A little bit maybe over pitch from Chris Wokes. Backed himself to be able to hit it. Races to the boundary. Oh. They're saying there Steve Smith did not mean to hit it over the top, but he ended up hitting the pitch and the puff of dust actually came forward. 19-meter gap between mid-off and cover. So Steve Smith, he saw that opportunity, went straight between them. All of the over for Wokes. Straightening quite nicely. That'll be the end of the over. 173 for 3 for the Australians. It's a fabulous lifestyle here. The only letdown is a lousy pub environment. No rugby or cricket. Needs something or someone innovative to open up a Southern sports pub, says Mumbo Jumbo. A great take from Zach Crawley, though. Fielding that one, catching that one about maybe shin height. Watched it into his hands. Seems like England at the moment in this last day of the test match, they are certainly taking their chances. And I was working the boss doing night shift works. Smoko breaks now. Anyone want at service or anything you want at service station hot pie? Says Nate. I feel like the servos in Australia are very similar to here, aren't they? Do you guys have like chicken at all your service stations? That seems to be a thing that a lot of people are doing here now. George has actually been on the hunt for the best place to get chicken from out of the petrol stations and all the little food places. I'm off. Thanks, mate. Says Enzel. Hopefully, you enjoy the rest of your day at work, Enzel, and we will see you in the future. Well, when I was there, I could not drink alcohol because of a medical condition. I was married, so I didn't do single man things. Says Peter. And England team this session command the game. Hope that they will finish Ash's campaign with a win and level the series 2-2. Says Michelle. And it seems like there's quite a few field changes now for Travis Head. Now, I believe they will start bowling short to Travis Head, mainly because that is how he has gone out in the past. He enjoys going after the short ball. And straight from ball number one, it seems like that is the tactic. Now, with Mark Wood, he is only bowling here at about 140 Ks, whereas he does normally get that little bit quicker. Oh, it's pitched up. Sold on the double bluff, but unfortunately, Head did end up getting hit in the head, but not that head upstairs. Luckily, he was wearing a box. Wouldn't have felt too nice. Moen Ali looks like he too is going to be sticking a helmet on. Oh, yeah, that's not the ball you want. First crack. That's hit him on his head, says Fluffy. Ouch, says Peter. Yeah, it doesn't feel nice. I can concur. Luckily, didn't get hit there today for myself. So I feel like that is something that I need to make sure I continue doing is not getting hit with the ball. Because, it's not the best thing to do, is it? If you can avoid it. Now Travis Head. So it's going to be shorter from Mark Wood. Also pitched up nicely, whipped off his pads, down to the man at fine leg. It is kept to just the one. Now my question is, are they going to go with that same tactic to Steve Smith? A rain could save the Aussies, says Hanoi. I think Mark Wood and Travis Head having a little bit of a conversation talking about how much that ball moved when it did hit Travis Head. And the leg, few more clouds in the background. Still no sign of rain as of yet, though. Apparently, Wagga Wagga is a party town. I should have stopped when I drove through a few years back, says Mumbo Jumbo. Solid from Smith. So far this session, we've seen 12.3 overs, 39 runs, and 3 wickets. So theoretically, with the amount of time left in this test match, Australia going at that run rate would just about get there. If they lose 1 or 2 more wickets, they're down to Marsh, then Alex Carey, and then they go into that tail of Stark, Cummins, Todd Murphy, and Josh Hazlewood. Hi, says Amelia. Welcome in. The big question here for Australia is how many runs do they want to have to chase in the last 2 sessions of this test match? Oh, Steve Smith has not got that ball the way he would have liked. He was looking to whip it away to the leg side. Instead, gets square edge, or leading edge, sorry, out towards third man. And yep, if you know people in Wagga, they will take you out for a very good night. I have not been there myself since 2009. Says Peter, I'm back again. Says Luke, welcome back. Oh, that only just hit the bat of Steve Smith. And that would have been extremely plumb had he missed it. Made a face as well. Just decided to stare at Mark Wood the whole time, going with his face. Oh, nice bit of swing there for Mark Wood again. 140 kilometres an hour. Irish Pro in August, Australia tour South Africa, another high voltage series in the upcoming months, says Michelle. And hopefully we will be able to cover a little bit of that series on the channel, although I believe that those games actually overlap directly with New Zealand versus England, unfortunately. And also we've got the Hamish ate a blast at TAF today. That is good news. We got to use the ride-on mowers and the brush cutter. I swear I spent 20 minutes on the brush cutter, says Amelia. It's good to hear that you've been enjoying it. Oh, that's a good ball. Lot of swing. Well controlled by Travis Head. End of the over. 51 overs down now. And the first hour has been completed. It will now be 175 for three. I'm not sure how much, to be honest. Maybe my radar only detects pies and donuts. You'll have to slap it in me face. There you are, says Blues. No, I saw they had like burgers and bags at one of the petrol stations, which they didn't look too flash, to be fair. But, you know, I feel like a series on the channel, maybe not this channel, maybe it would have to be a different channel. Could be me and George go to random petrol stations and try the weirdest things that we can find. My dude Taff has been a lot easier to adjust to. My teachers are super nice, says Amelia K. And Wagga is an interesting town sport-wise, playing league and AFL. And Kerry Kelly and Hind, or Hurd, sorry, are from there. Hope it gets rained out, says Luke. So you're hoping for rain. What if, let's say, Australia build about a 100-run partnership between these two? Are you still hoping for rain, or are you hoping from there Australia would go on and win the test match? If they had time, that is. Howdy, howdy, my guy. Says, it was Blues, Nate. Does we'll get there tomorrow. We get to mix concrete. That is a lot of fun. Moving concrete, though, that's quite hard work. Barrowing it. Done a fair bit of that in my time. As long as you don't tip the barrow over, you're fine. And whereabouts are you now, Peter? And yep, Hanoi. A lot of good sportsmen come out of Wagga. And also, we've got down to many of them as kids. Now the drinks break. First hour had to go to England. I don't think there's any denying in that regard. Second hour, though, could be a whole different story. And I mentioned about how I was intrigued to see how Australia would play that first session, whether they would look to be aggressive to try and get it all done and dusted in the first maybe 2.5 sessions rather than going right down to the wire. But the way that England have bowled, they haven't really allowed the Australians to be able to score those runs freely. The thing is, though, we talked about they were going to be trying to get through 98 overs in the day. They've only got through 13 in that first session, and it was about an hour and 8 minutes. So the chances of getting through 85 overs from here are extremely slim. The chances of getting through 65 overs from here, like 70 maybe at a stretch, but I don't think we'll get through. Oh no, actually I'll take that back. I think 75 overs, about somewhere there we will be able to get through. Maybe 80, depending on if there is any rain. The new ball is so sick. Yeah, it's been certainly more effective for the English than we saw for the first ball. It's going to be a draw, says Mr. Tees. And also, we have got, didn't know Kerry was an older bro. He was pretty good. Kangaroos captain, or Kangas captain at 21. And I knew the Australians would not get 100, says Mr. Tees. And with this new ball, it's looking like it's going to be very tricky for any Australian to get himself the 100. So far, Wokes, very good bowling, 2.18 as his economy. Stuart Broad also right up there in the economy department. The two most expensive bowlers, or the three most expensive, in fact, have been Moeen Ali, Joe Root, and Mark Wood. And Smith the Cheat, the next one to get out, says Mr. Tees. Well, they're really targeting Travis Head's stumps at the moment, and I believe they will throw a short ball to him every once in a while. Sounds like we've got to change. Is it going to be Jimmy Anderson? Maybe, who is now going to be having the bowl. Sounded like by the reaction, yep, it is Jimmy Anderson. What is everyone's favorite type of cookie? I'm trying a business. I need ideas, says Luke. I think the chat will be more useful than myself because I'm a plain chocolate chip kind of guy, to be honest, which probably isn't what you want to hear. I know that Subway cookies, people enjoy them, having the M&M cookie and that kind of thing. Some people like nuts in their cookies, like macadamia cookie with white chocolate. Yeah, do let Luke know, ladies and gentlemen. That was a big swing from Steve Smith. Did not hit the ball, though. Do you think England can win within the first hour of the final session? Says Ahmad, if they keep on ticking the wickets the way they have been throughout this first session, there is a chance that England could bowl Australia out by the time we get to the end of the second session. Because if Smith goes, if Head goes, he's starting to get down a little bit further. Mitchell Marsh is a sensational batsman, though, so it will take a little while, I would think, to be able to get him out. And you start getting down into the tail. Jimmy Anderson, that one's just hit the pad. And go for 4. It's going to be a leg bias. Just saying there, not completely convinced that Steve Smith was trying to hit that ball. Jimmy Anderson just a little bit too straight in that one. And I'm on the thigh pad. Steve Smith. And do you think England can win within the first hour of the final? Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? Also, my mate was a rookie at the Crows when Kerry was up, or went there after North. He said they were all seagulls when they went out with Wayne after the games. Says annoy stream the whole day. That is slightly the plan. It will depend a little bit though in terms of whether we do get to see some rain. If there's a rain shower and it seems like we might not quite get a result, we may not end up doing all of the sessions, mainly because we are starting work at a reasonable hour tomorrow. But I'm willing to be sleep deprived to a certain extent if the game looks like we're going to see a result. But at the moment, if it goes for the full day, I'm looking at about 3 hours sleep. I got chocolate chip, a s'more cookie, there's M&Ms and mini marshmallows, and also a jam drop cookie. Jam drop cookie. I haven't heard of a jam drop one. That's probably quite nice. Is it similar to a jam donut? Are you in the cookie business, Luke, in terms of in Australia type thing? Is it online or is it in a shop? Do let me know. Do you ship to New Zealand? And yes, Jeff Lawson was playing seniors when he was 15. He looked like he had prospects when he was a kid. No, says Luke. Right, so that'll be no to shipping to New Zealand, I think. Maybe. It was amazing how many top sportsmen we turned out. In my town, sorry, he says, look, no, that's all good. Hopefully it does end up going very well for you. Everyone loves cookies. Well, most people love cookies anyway. Where are you living now, Peter? Says Mama Jama Kiwi. Now Smith. Still on strike to Jimmy Anderson. Pitched up straight drive. Down the ground on the onside. 4 runs for Steve Smith. Hi, Mumbo. Which I live in Fiji as a political refugee exile. Says Peter. Nice on drive from Steve Smith. Target almost down below the 200 now for the Australians. Thing. You wouldn't tell. Oh, no, there was a bit of technique there. I was going to say you wouldn't tell a child to play that shot the way that Steve Smith did, but at the time of contact, everything was in the right spot. Now Travis Head will be facing off again with, I believe it will be Mark Wood after the swing he was able to create in that last over. Or is it going to be Stuart Broad? Stuart Broad comes back in. They've actually decided to give him a crack at the lefties. When do you think we will see some spin? I think it will be a little bit later on. Travis Head, I believe the tactic to him will be to bowl a majority of pace. And yeah, I mean, we might see spin before the end of the session if we're lucky. Mr. Fred probably on my way to the fridge for a coldie. Mama Jumbo and New Zealand biscuits still the best. What was your favourite Griffin's biscuit? Lose Nate, do let me know. Unless you're what's the other one? Arnott's is Australian, isn't it? We've got Griffin's over here. We've got, Pam's or any of those ones, but I think Griffin's is the main one. And I'm happy with a bit of profit, so I can make them again. It is just for fun. And also, we have to get there. Okay, well, look at some. Here's Luke. Oh, good ball. That is almost unplayable from Stuart Broad. That one moved a mile. That one came back in, then seamed away. I don't think Travis Head could do anything else to that delivery. He played the line of the ball and then it just continued going outwards. and didn't take long for warning, says we roll, or Khawaja. Both men dismissed within about 5 overs of each other within the first 10 overs of the day. So now England have got their tails up. They're bowling brilliant deliveries here with the ball. They have got played by Head late, goes out to the man who's fielding. Backward point, Griffin's Biscuits, says Nate. And I annoy every year, or sorry, each year there were stateside selections, then the stateside player, then the All Australians were selected from the stateside tournament. In my year, Paul Hawke and Jeffrey Harrison made the All Australian side. Paul Hawke then played for Sydney and Collingwood. Thin biscuits are with chocolate. So like I think they're Jaffa thins, aren't they? The orange ones. And then they've also got the chocolate thins as the other ones. Although serve very interesting time in Australia and England. It's eating up nicely for the fifth Ashes Test match. And to be honest, we should have expected it because every other game of the Ashes has had its twists and turns. And it seems like this one, it's going to be no different. Australia still needing just over the 200 runs to win. England need the 7 wickets, which they'll be looking for at least 2 more in this session. And if they're able to do that, they will be working a long way towards a victory. Played off the back foot for Travis here, managed to find the gap on the offside. Well, Harry Brook, they will get back for the 2 runs, and that now means Australia need 199 runs to win this test, which is why the crowd are cheering. Just showing the dismissals we've seen. Just showing the catches that Crawley has got for himself. He's had some very good catches throughout the series. He misses those Griffins. Says Blues Nate. And Mellow Puffs. Mellow Puffs are very good. Chit Chats are all right. Toffee Pops. Actually, my favourite Griffin's biscuit at the moment would be the Toffee Pops that are salted caramel sundae, I think they're called, or something like that. They are real good. I actually prefer them over the original Mellow Puffs. That was close to the outside edge of Travis Head. And Mellow Puff or Marshmallow Biscuit by Griffins. Yep, they're called Mellow Puffs, and pretty much they're just the spongy middle with a biscuit base and chocolate coating them. You have to get them when you're next here, unless they are in Australia. No, I'm not sure whether or not you'll be able to find them over there, maybe in the international section, I guess. Broad. Oh, it's just great bowling from Stuart Broad. He's half an inch off getting Travis Head's wicket. The end of the over, 185 for 3. Still another 40 or so minutes remaining in session number 1. If not, maybe even actually 45 minutes, which means actually, with them starting 10 minutes later, are they going to take lunch 10 minutes later, do we think, or are they going to go with the normal scheduled times with just that little bit of a delay? So it may only be an hour and 50-minute session, but either way, it's still only going to be 30 to 50 minutes remaining. Irish Pro, after Adam Gilchrist, no other wicketkeeper got the Australian team that calibre of power. That reason Australia keepers couldn't stable and test an ODI cricket team, says Vishal. Because to be honest, Alex Carey, he's a fantastic batsman, but he hasn't quite stepped up at test match level, unfortunately, as the keeper. He still seems to be the first choice because of his keeping ability. With the bat, just hasn't quite been able to deliver. We have good there. Do I have a story? Lol, yes, I'm actually very famous in political circles, says Peter. And that is effing awesome indeed, says Mumbo Jumbo. So sitting on 15 off 27. Still ticking over relatively all right for the Aussies. I'm looking at the 82 overs remaining. Plenty of time for both of these sides to create the results. Steve Smith takes the single to the onside. And me Marshmallow. Says the Blues late. Should I see if I can find a picture of a Mellow Puff? Mellow Puff. I've spelled it wrong. There they are. They are beautiful. Go like that, like that. In fact, we might be able to go like that. There we go. Yeah, a moment. Put that there. There. There we go. Mellow Puffs. The originals. Look at that. Spongy center. Brilliant. Oh, yeah. Pitched up it. And now maybe a little bit over pitched. And I was like, really? I've been there many times. I live in Karlsruhe from 2007 to 2015. Cheers, Peter. Hello. Three down. Two quick wickets of Khawaja and Warner. Labuschagne dismissed as well. What's your favourite type of Griffin's biscuit? Is it a mellow puff? Nah. Chit chat? Nah. Chocolate drafts, was it? Oh, ruffs. Ah. They used to be called Afghan biscuits, didn't they? And then they changed it to ruffs. So yeah, Griffin's ruffs. What else do we have got? I had no aircon, so on hot days I went to the pool. Peter. The match is 138 for the Broad and Anderson combination. 500 wickets for Broad when Anderson is at his side. Just up there. Side off stump. Jimmy Anderson was running somewhere quickly. But I don't think he realised it was actually the end of the over. Or not the end of the over. Pro last in the BBL, Melbourne Renegades keepers very furiously played at opening, but selecting committee. Australia couldn't watching just batting the player named Sam Harper. Says the show, yeah, Sam Harper's a good batsman. I don't think they back him as a wicketkeeper just yet. Unfortunately, in live music, here we go on the guitar. Says Mumbo Jumbo. Well, that one came back in off the seam for Jimmy Anderson. Nicely cut away. And geez, how much there you go. Taking up the whole screen on my phone, says Blues Nate. Yeah, it was a big picture of Mellow Puffs, to be fair. A lot bigger than I thought it was. I live in Hedwig, Kettler Struss, in a brand new apartment building, only 500 metres from the centre of town, man, small world. Of another over 191 for three. The overcast conditions are still here, and they will be for a majority of the day. It's just that question of whether the rain radar is on. No chocolate ruffs weren't Afghans, weren't they? Afghan biscuits. We're talking about the same ones, aren't we? With the chocolate on top, and then that kind of biscuity base with a few, I think it's macadamia nuts in it or something like that. Picked up and nicely fielded, but they do get through for the single. I was there constantly up to 2013, and Warner, Cummins, and Smith just playing for the big salary. Says we roll. Really? What are you doing in Karlsruhe? Karlsruhe? I think I mispronounced it. Steve Smith. He could be one of the big keys for Australia. There was an Aussie guy working behind the bar. Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. I think Broad is another player for England that has huge responsibility for this final session. Definitely when the new ball is taken in around 26 overs. Although, to be honest, the way that this ball is swinging, they won't want to take that new ball. This one is doing just enough. That was nicely whipped off the pads by Smith. The man at fine leg. Another single. Boland and Nessa should have played the 50s. Series the way we roll. So is that for Warner and Cummins, or is that for someone else? You would have had an Afghans have a bit of chocolate on top and a walnut, says John. They do, the Afghan biscuits that you can get from the shop. Although I think those ruffs used to also be called Afghans. I'm going to have to do a little bit of a Google. Yeah, I think they changed the name of them. Griffins Afghan biscuits. Yeah, they used to be called Afghans, now called chocolate ruffs, is what we've seen there. I've got a very blurry picture of it, if that helps. But yeah, they used to be called Afghans, now they are ruffs. There we go. Afghans. Beautiful. But yeah, they do have the Afghan biscuit as well as that one with the chocolate and the walnut, like you said. Can you put a poll up for me and I will tell you the ones to put up if you say yes? Says Luke. I haven't actually seen our poll at the moment in terms of who people think will win. One moment. Oh, that was a bit of reaching. We'll have to get it up very quickly. And Cummins and Stark, I would have rested them. I used to spend a lot of time traveling through EU. Fascinating place. I love the beer and lifestyle. Says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. All off the surface is extremely hard to play. I guess I could ask the question, Luke, instead of the poll, if that's easier. I assume it's between the three biscuits that you had or the three cookies that you had. You want to know what one people would be most likely to get, maybe? It's sitting 9 off 17. The man at deep square leg, deep fine leg also. Leg side nicely whipped off the pads. Head will get at least 2 for this shot. In fact, he's actually timed it perfectly and it goes away for the 4 runs. No, says Luke. Okay, it depends on what the poll is, of course. And say Anton, nice. Luxembourg. You know what? I've done it, says Mumbo Jumbo. Very nicely played by Travis here, flicking it off his pads. For Australia, any extra runs in this first session are a massive bonus in terms of cutting down the amount that they need throughout the last 2. There is now a 50% chance of rain at 1 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, which is in around 22 minutes' time. So that's slightly concerning. That was not there before in the rain radar. Once again, a little bit too straight. 198 for 3 now. And Smith needs to survive the lunch and push on, says the way we roll. Yeah, I think both of these men, if they can stay out there at the end of the session, they'd probably have about, I'd say, almost a 50-run partnership by then. What about chocolate macaroons? They're good. They are. The only thing I have a problem with the chocolate macaroons is how small they are now compared to, like, they used to be so big. You used to get them about maybe that. And now you're lucky if they're about that. But then they still charge you more for them, sadly. But I guess that's like most things, isn't it? How prices are slowly going up for less that you get. Meet Gandalf and Siri wasn't available. Located our cartel, says Blues Nate. And Irish from New Zealand wicketkeeper Lee Jumum. Then Adam Porore, Chris Nevin, Brendan McCullum, BJ Watling, good players. Got recently years in New Zealand cricket team. Another shot off the pads for Travis Head and shrinkflation. That will be another 4 runs. Brilliant work from Head. And that now brings up the 200 runs on the board for the Australians. We've got their chocolate chips, some more jam drop chocolate glaze with sprinkles, chocolate with caramel, peanut butter, says Luke. And you are wanting to know which of those ones people would like the most or the most likely to buy, I guess. Is that the case, Luke? We have got their quick 50 by Head and it's game on. Yep. If he can be out there at the end of the session, I would say with the fact he's sitting on 18 off 20 shot, another 4 runs. And like they've said, this is what Travis Head does. Yes, sometimes he's missing the ball, but if you don't get the ball right to him, he's going to hit you away to the boundary. And we've seen that already twice, back to back. Or would buy, says Luke. Okay. So anyone who's watching at the moment, do help Luke out in terms of those cookie options that he put in. Do let him know which ones you like the most for his bacon side of things 4 runs, absolutely love it back to back. Says away we roll. Yep. And I believe Travis Head will do this to most of the bowlers. He was a bit slow, or he considered going for that one. Anderson gave him a little bit more width to see if he was game enough to hit it away. He's got to scamper. Want to spend some time in the hot sun while it's here by folks, says Mumbo Jumbo. We'll see you later on. Mint slice. They're always decent. They're a little bit the same as the macaroons, aren't they? How they've shrunk a little bit more. The Griffins have actually made some pretty good biscuits here in New Zealand, I have to say. Have you tried the Toffee Pop Caramel Sundae biscuits, John Warren? And if you have, what did you think of them? Do let me know. Travis Head sitting 22 from 22. Now it would seem, come on, England. Aussies start flogging. We're in for a match. Says Nate. And Mallow pass. Now trying to keep simple, says Luke. I mean, chocolate chip always goes a long way. The marshmallow ones that you mentioned, I'm sure people would enjoy as well. Like when you were listing them, the marshmallow to me, I'd have more likely than the jam drop. And then, I mean, people like peanut butter, don't they? It seems to be quite popular. 8 runs so far off these 4 balls of the over. So another 24 overs before the new ball is available for the English. They've got 2 slips. Moanali fielding at round backward point, and Onatum Caramel Tim Tams the bomb, says Nazi Williams. Head. Like someone said, quickfire 50 could be hugely beneficial for Australia. Quickfire 100, I would argue that this game is almost won by Australia if Travis Head's able to do so. It's like a drop of jam in the middle of a cookie, says Luke. Although I guess maybe I'm not the best one to ask for that, mainly because I don't really have jam, to be fair. Like, I don't mind it, but I don't have a lot of it. What about a peanut butter and jam one? So like peanut butter and jelly. People like that. Definitely in America, they like that. So I mow lawns and one of my customers work for Griffins. So I get to try new varieties that haven't been on the market yet. Have you had any like really, really bad ones? How they're testing it and you kind of eat it and you're kind of like, it's great. Do you get to tell him your honest opinion of them, or does he want to hear that they're good before they put them on the shelves? Maybe thanks for suggestions. And coconut macaroons. Sears flesh in there. Yeah. They seem to be popular around the world because that's the other thing. Macaroons, sometimes depending on where you're from, will depend on what you're talking about, whether or not it's that little kind of biscuit that we have over here, or whether it's one of those multicolored ones with the cream in the middle. It could be a thrilling finish. I agree. I think it's going to be very good to watch. And this first session has absolutely flown by. We've already been going for an hour and 43 minutes. Oh, nice and swinger from broad, but it's driven by. Yeah, that one's gone through. Moanali not able to get to it. I don't care. Just give me heaps, says John. 21 for Smith. Nice. Got that foot going forward towards the ball, elbow high. And yeah, Moanali was not going to be able to get to that one. I think that since Travis Head's made his way to the middle, it's also made Steve Smith more aggressive. And yep, we are scoring very quickly. We can't keep this up. And can you just please do a poll because I can't get answers of the option, says Luke. I think what you would be better off doing, to be honest, would be asking local people. Because it's going to be different depending on whereabouts you are in the world. So you'd be better off asking the locals what they would want and then supplying that rather than finding out what people who won't be buying them would want, because it may not be what they like locally. Maybe you've got something in the local area that they go, yeah, we'd like to try that rather than, it's like the peanut butter and jelly one. That would be probably popular elsewhere, but maybe it's not what you'd have where you are. I'm sitting on 21 and have had strange flavored toffee pops. Yeah, I've had a few wrong uns out there, I guess. I've never been able to get behind the chocolate, or no, the cookies and cream toffee pop, I think's not great, which might not be a popular opinion, but I just think it's a bit rough. Overall, it's real chewy, and I'd much prefer the caramel sundae one. Rain forecast still says that at 1 p.m. local time, which is in around 15 minutes, we could see a little bit of rain, 50% chance. It wasn't on the rain radar before, but now it's made its way back on there. Broad charging in again. Solid from Smith. I think, to be honest, these two are the keys. If Smith goes out soon, England will certainly see themselves as the box seat favourite. If Head goes out soon, it would be ideal, but they still need, I believe, Steve Smith, because he's going to try and be that anchor. And Average Pro Dark Chocolate says, Michelle, I don't have a huge amount of dark chocolate, to be honest. Like Whitaker's chocolate over here is pretty dark anyway. I think it's about 33% cocoa, which I think compared to dairy milk is an extra like 10% or something like that. Compared to Cadbury, I should say. Ian Smith keeps his concentration, watching that one move around off the surface. Marsh waiting patiently. He will be the sixth man to the crease after dinner mince good. There's John and Rice Biscuits, anyone? There's Blues, Nate. Well, something Australia are doing right though is their mangoes. Because I've been getting frozen mango, and I think it's been coming from Peru, and it's just not as sweet as the Aussie mangoes. Unfortunately, it just doesn't quite, not quite the same. But I don't think the Australians actually do have frozen mango in supermarkets, at least not down here, which is a shame. Now, only another, I believe, either 12 or 22 minutes of session number one here. And there is that 40-minute break. I believe we will be doing some of the second session. The start of it, anyway, is the minimum plan that we have got, since this first session has completely flown by. I think that next 30 minutes or so will certainly tell us a lot about how it's going to go. I don't think we do. Says Luke. I just checked the rain radar. Our players, or our prayers for rain, are about to be answered. And I know you love mangoes, says John Warren. Yeah. Would they even make a mango flavored toffee pop? Although mango and chocolate, I don't know whether that goes together, to be honest. And mango's tart, sweets. Says Blues, Nate. And now they're good. Says Luke. Now Anderson trying to get the ball to move across Travis' head again. 129 kilometers an hour. So taking that pace down a little bit, but because of it, it means that the ball is moving a lot more than it would have elsewhere. Yeah, that Chris Wokes signing, whole heap of autographs. Trumpets as well for Jimmy Anderson. They want to see him pick up his first wicket of the test match, currently sitting 52 runs without one. 13 overs. Normally by now we would see Anderson be able to strike up at least the one, but the partnership currently is sitting 41 from 50 balls. Chris Wokes trying his best to sign everything on the boundary. Still We've got 4 balls remaining of this over. So I would say he's got a pretty good chance of being able to get through all of them. That one's going to be left again by Travis here. Nice angle going across. 178 runs. That's a lot, to be honest. Like, that is still, sorry, 174. Uh-oh. 50% chance of rain at 1 p.m., 60% chance of rain at 2 p.m. It's starting to get a little bit more damp by the looks of it for the future. And I would say that more than likely at the end of the lunch break, we will see very quickly whether we're going to get to see a lot of play during session number 2. Oh, head. Not quite getting that one the way that he wanted. He tried to flick it off his pads. Wasn't able to do so. He just actually flicks it straight into his own thigh pad. In that case for Travis Head. I don't think that was thunder in the background, but it could have been that I've just heard. I has a coconut, or I had a coconut tart before. Bloody hard to live with. That's brilliantly fielded by Mark Wood. Be able to cut that one off. Anderson is impressed. Yeah, that's either wind that we can hear through one of the mics, or that is thunder. Mark Wood, did he see this one? They're thinking that maybe it hit him in the head. Not quite. Although he did do a full on spin, so I didn't quite know whereabouts that ball was. Last ball of the Anderson over. This has been a good over for England, only the 1 run off it. Trying to put that pressure back on as they were scoring freely. Oh, Smith didn't play that well. Ended up chopping it down and then actually chopped it back to Johnny Bairstow. But that'll be the end of the over. 211 for 3. The rain radar currently still has it just those 2 hours. Could be affected by the rain. The problem is, at the moment in England, this Ashes series, we have had pretty much any time that there's been a percentage of rain chance, there's been rain. I didn't hear any thunder, says Luke. It might have just been me then. Maybe it was the wind that I could hear through the stump mic, or it might have just been a microphone around the ground that we could hear that little bit of wind coming through. 7 minutes or 17 remaining in this first session, depending on whether or not they did extend the session by 10 minutes due to the later start that they did have. He almost halfway went to leave that, Steve Smith. Ended up kind of chopping it down into the ground and knocking it back to ACDC. Do you like Turkish Delight and Cherry Ripe? I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Cherry Ripe, mainly because I guess I don't usually like dark chocolate. Turkish Delight's, like, I'd say it's not bad, but I wouldn't eat it if there were other options. Great ball from Broad. Yeah, Isaac, one of the other Kiwi lads, he seems to love Cherry Ripe. So what I've always done, anytime I've had like favourites be given to me as like a present, anytime I get that, I put all the Cherry Ripes aside and then give them all to him. That was very close to that edge. Like they've said, Stuart Broad looking for that fairy tale ending. He wasn't able to get that wicket of David Warner. He was trying his best. But in the end, Warner dismissed elsewhere. You have become a favourite streamer in 2 nights. Congratulations, says Luke. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. We've got plenty more action coming. Not a lot of cricket in the near future, but we have got the rugby union side of things that we do cover. Yeah, cricket-wise, I think it might be about a month or so, unfortunately, till our next cricket one. But we do also have a few videos up on the channel of us playing cricket in real life with a GoPro on our helmet. So if that's something that you do like watching, highly recommend checking that out. I can give an update in the Women's World Cup also. Australia leading 3-0 up against Canada, so it does seem like they will be able to make their way out of the group. That is a brilliant flick off the pads for Travis Head, and that'll be another 4 runs. So you can get 100. There's William. One day, hopefully. My best so far is 53 not out. And that was I feel like I'm slowly improving, mainly because I only just came back to playing cricket after 10 years away. The muscle memory's still slightly there. I've just got to get that confidence to play the shots that I want to. Been a bit more aggressive in the nets today, though, trying to hit the bad ball away and then just still making sure I keep that good ball out. Partnership moves up to 46 runs, though. Pitched up, thought about driving Travis Head. Not able to get it. Yeah, I guess 100 would be a massive goal for this year. New Zealand are out. Says William. Yeah, New Zealand are out of the Women's World Cup, but it does seem like Australia will be making their way forward at this stage. Seeing as Canada, I don't think Canada was the lowest team in their group. One moment. Canada were in second, so they will actually take Canada's spot, if I'm not wrong. Raw wide of the crease, trying to go for that one. Travis Head didn't quite connect to the glove. It's a good short ball, mixing it up. Also, the Australian flags there from Luke. Yeah, international cricket wise, looking at the schedule, what we got. West Indies versus India, they are playing T20 cricket starting from 3 days' time. New Zealand play the UAE in a T20 series. South Africa versus Australia, that is in 30 days' time on the 31st of August. And that is actually the same day that England versus New Zealand series of T20 starts. So sadly, we will have to make the decision of which one of those two we cover. Solid from here to close out the over. And that'll be now 215 for 3. Still only the 3 wickets down here for Australia. So if they go into this next session and cut it down to only needing 100 runs with maybe only 4 wickets down, you'd have to back them to be able to get the job done. But 77 overs to win the game. Rain is the big factor. Unfortunately, it's become the talking point of the Ashes series for these last 2 contests. 50% chance that it is going to be raining when they come back from lunch, and then 60% chance that it will be raining the hour after. Right, Moeen Ali coming into the bowling attack right at the end of the first session, just to see if there is turn in the surface, although he has to get the line and length a lot better than he did in his first over yesterday. Was just giving away a few too many easy runs. I think American baseball is our version of, should I say, come from cricket. I have no idea what's going on in cricket, Hamish. There's Kerman. There's no worries. I guess similarities in terms of you are trying to smack the ball in some cases as far as you can, and you get runs or you get, I guess, bases in baseball compared to the runs in cricket. But two sports quite different, but also seem to have quite strong followings around the world. Although outside of America, I don't think baseball is as popular, is it? What would you say is the second biggest baseball country in terms of viewing numbers and support for their team? Do let me know. Number one, Ali. First ball, little bit over pitch. Steve Smith drives well. Jimmy Anderson having a chase after, and it will just beat him to the boundary. He was trying his best. I didn't quite get there. 50-run partnership now between Travis Head and Steve Smith. Japan, says Peter, and Oz is creeping closer. They certainly are. Trying to cut it down to about 150 by the time they end this session. The Japanese are crazy for baseball, and Japan/Cuba love baseball. And maybe Japan, says John there as well. Do Canada follow baseball at all? I know that a few other sports that they have in America, such as basketball and whatnot, there's a bit of a Canadian following for them as well. But is that the same with baseball, or is it um, more just America? Japan and Caribbean countries are great baseball countries, says Kerman. And can you do South Africa versus Australia? It is still a month away, so we'll see how it's going. That was a French cut from Steve Smith off the inside edge. Does look like they're spinning the surface though, and this is dangerous time for Australia. Ice hockey, says John. Yeah, they love their ice hockey in Canada. And there was a Mexican guy who lied on his papers, said he was 17, got a massive contract in the USA. Says Hanoi. Canada are big on baseball. I went to a Toronto Blue Jays game once. But rain is supposed to start in 34 minutes, and now the chance of rain at 2 p.m. is 100%. That's not good. That is not what we want to see. So hopefully we get enough cricket for both sides to still have a chance of creating a result. And that shower does only last for about an hour or so, although that will make it relatively wet out there on the field, I would think. Moen Ali now, a little bit overpitched. Travis Head trying to get that extra bit of flight, see if he can lure Head into playing a big shot. No, it's just interesting. There's Hanoi, a little bit shorter there. And he gets it out through point for one. 34 minutes time, so that is before the end of the lunch break. And that's probably the worst time to have rain start, because theoretically that will make them a lot more hesitant to make their way out onto the field. Definitely if it is supposed to get rainier as we go forward. Monali now. Oh, that turned. That was flat. That was spinning. And that will be at least 2 runs now for Joe Root having to cut it off. In fact, it was Zach Crawley down by the boundary. They do just take the 2, but that will be the end of the over. 222 for 3. Steve Smith just trying to work out. I think that's lunch. I think I just saw him say. But I believe they're playing an extra 10 minutes due to the latest start that we did have. Okay, I got to go. Thanks for tonight. Says Luke, no worries. Hopefully the cookies do end up going well for yourself if you are making them in the future, the near future, that is. Oh, okay. They've actually said that those are not going to be 2 runs to Steve Smith for him not playing the shot. So he's disappointed, Steve Smith. You're doing the whole day, says William. It is the plan, although if it does look like the rain is going to be long enough to stop us from seeing a result, that may be when we do end up going to bed. Mainly because we are currently sitting past midnight here in New Zealand. The game can go right through to about 6 a.m. New Zealand time. But yeah, we do start work at around 8:30 a.m. New Zealand time tomorrow. So they lunch break in cricket, halftime in the lower tier sports. Says Kerman, and hey Hamish, I'm guessing it stumps for you when the session ends. Not quite. We are going to be back for the second session. Even if there is rain at the very start of it, we will keep you updated in terms of how long it seems like there is going to be that rain delay. I just saw the Aussies won soccer versus Canada. They did indeed 3. Oh, did they get a late goal? 4-0. William, stumps for you, Hamish. Oh, no, I read that one. Oh, no second or third session, although we're planning on doing at least the second session if the rain does stay away. At the end of the day, I've been able to function off less than 3 hours sleep before. So should be all right. They've got 4 men back on the league side to Travis Head with Mark Wood bowling now. Oh, little edge. It's gone very fine. And Travis Head manages to get away with a single. A cup of tea break. More like Kevin, says Nazi. And also we have got where's old mate. I hope he or she is all well and goods. Probably running on the gears. Payday today for Mark Smith. Says Blues Nate. And yes, they scored a penalty, says William. So yeah, confident win for the Aussies to now be sitting in that round of 16. It is a shame about New Zealand just because it is a co-hosted World Cup in New Zealand and they did so well in their first game, but unfortunately just took the foot off the accelerator for those last 2. Now that I think about it, is it Pakistan versus Australia this year in the Boxing Day Test match? Another short ball. Smith manages to jump underneath it. Mark Wood back, is he? A bit injured yesterday. Yeah, he does seem like he's down pace a little bit, only getting around that 138, 140 mark at best. But yeah, he is back out there just for now. Was able to pick up the wicket of Marnus Labuschagne, so managed to get himself and his side a big wicket earlier on in the session. England play. Okay, I don't think they've announced the Boxing Day Test match yet, or at least they haven't on the app that I have got. Leg side, Smith pulls it away. The man in the deep, Joe Root. And that will be another single taken. Field changes. Coming here for England once again, going with the 4 men deep on the leg side for Travis Head because he does enjoy going after that short ball. They are just showing up against India. Love one down the leg side, Vunkard. And another stream was saying Mark Wood. I was out chopping wood yesterday. This is the way we roll. Trying to take the stumps down here, though, isn't it? That's the only wood that Wood wants to make contact with currently. And that's too short to do so. That was around the helmet height of Travis Head, getting him behind it. 29, 27. These two Aussie batsmen with the 50-run partnership. We're able to build up very nicely from those early wickets falling of Khawaja, Labuschagne, and also David Warner. Smashing the bat on the pitch here, Travis Head. Still got the bat pad. Johnny Bairstow down the leg side a little bit. Just to shuffle right across. And Hamish burning the midnight oil here. Says Charles, welcome in, mate. You are doing very well. What's streaming this weekend, Hamish says Nazi? I believe we have got, in fact, I've still got that pop-up from the other day, hopefully. Here it is. So of these games, we haven't got any that are not confirmed yet. But the ones that we've confirmed are New Zealand, Australia, we will be covering. Argentina, South Africa, we will be doing. Japan versus Fiji, I do want to do, so we probably will end up doing that. These ones are the maybes for throughout the night, just because we're getting up then. What we may end up doing is actually sleeping before Fiji versus Japan so that we are able to do these games, or at least one or two of them, throughout the later stages. I don't know whether or not we'll be doing the Irish game just because the build-up of that next match may actually overlap a little bit. We have got quite a bit planned for that one. But yeah, about maybe 4 or 5 games of rugby union, something around there. Bunnings NBC, maybe on the Friday night if we can squeeze it in. I'll probably be watching those games anyway, though. And Joe, mate, sounds good. Says Nazi, but yeah, we've got a lot of warm-up games for the World Cup coming in the near future. 12:08 a.m. here in New Zealand currently, which means I believe we're going to get one more over. Maybe even, tell you what, they might even extend it due to the fact that they did have the rain yesterday. The session may actually go to 12:30 a.m. New Zealand time. And here's Bunny NPC. Stairs Blues, Nate. Yep, it's coming back. Tasman playing on Friday night. Oh, outplayed late from Smith. Gives a little bit of a nod saying, yep, that was a decent delivery. I think one thing, in fact, there are 2 things that are certain in life. Taxes and the fact that Steve Smith, even if he goes out, will think that it's not out. So if he can get LBW'd here by Mo and Ali, I'm sure that there would be a lot of talk happening, but I think that's what they've got to do, target the stumps, and they add an extra time later. They lose an hour or two to rain. I believe they can up to a certain time. Normally it's about 6 p.m. local time. Which, is that correct? 6 p.m., maybe 7 p.m. local time, in fact. But the bad light may actually be the problem later on in the evening. 7:07 a.m. On Monday here in Arkansas. Just starting the day, everyone. Have a great week. Cheers. Cheers, Kevin, and hopefully your week does go well. Also, we may get to see you for the weekend. I am absolutely thrilled you are covering the Ashes. Cricktails on YouTube hardly speaks a word of English. It's the way we roll. That's actually something that all throughout the Ashes, I never added into my title. A lot of people told me I should have put English commentary just because it may have helped in terms of pushing it out to people who were looking for the English commentary side. Because by the sounds of it, even though England and Australia both speak English, it seems to be a lot of people said I'm the only one who's covering it. And I'm not even from either of those countries, which seems surprising just because for me, the Ashes are always great to watch along to. Let's hope rain doesn't spoil it, says William. And Auckland going to take the Woodson Cup, says Blues. No, and stick around, Hamish, for the third session, says the way we roll. We'll see how the weather's going. At the moment, it does look like they're going to get some heavy-ish rain over the next 2 hours or so, and then that could actually change to being a little bit longer. Oh, in fact, the rain has changed its mind just a little bit. It's now 100% chance of raining at 2 p.m. local time, and it is supposed to rain in about 23 minutes. They've got there. Yeah, they are going to be continuing, so I believe lunch will be a little bit later, maybe 12:30. Plus, you might get a few million teenagers in India who want to watch a native speaker. Says Annoy. And there are a lot of Indians covering it, but no English or Aussies covering it. Says Peter. Okay, what we'll make an adjustment. I think my streaming allows me to do this. Live. We'll see whether or not it makes a difference or not. Here we go. Save changes. I've just now. Wait. Can I not? Broadcast is already live. Can't change the start time. No, I don't want to change the start time. Okay, I think I have to do it through YouTube. I was going to change it. Make it so that it said English commentary. See how it goes. Live English. How do you spell English? There we go. English commentary. I couldn't see it. Here we go. Live English commentary. The title has been changed, ladies and gentlemen. Wouldn't it be funny if it now shot up to like 500 viewers? Manifesting the rain, says Nazi Williams. Yeah, a few people hoping to see a bit of rain around. Well, this one, 10 boundaries between Smith and Head. 40 valuable runs, says the way we roll. Exactly right. Pitched up. If you look at the oval weather on Google, it's showing not much rain, says Ahmad. That's a brilliant drive, though, from Steve Smith. Moves up to now 32 runs on the board. For my rain radar for the oval, it has got just the next kind of 2 hours or so seem to be the real rainy stages. But after that, the rain does go away. If the ABs and New Zealand Warriors are playing finals on today, I'll be hard one to choose, says Blues Nate. Yeah, that's true. And I hope that's not the case. But then also, if the Warriors make it through to the final, I don't want to jinx them by doing their game because they've gone so well without me covering their games. No rain. It's a good chase right now, says Annoy. Short ball over the top. A little bit of movement there, but well taken by Bairstow behind the stumps. And sure, Nate, says Nazi Williams. So I believe if it goes through to 12:30 for this first session, or somewhere around there, after that, lunch would be taken, and about 2:10 local time would be when the second session will be starting. Oh, here's the revised times. We better take a picture on there. There we go. So lunch is 1:25. The afternoon session is 2:05 p.m. local time to 4:20. So that will be 2 hours 15. And then, pull shot. There was no one back there, though. Our viewers going down with English, says John Warren. Yeah, but that's all right. At least it's more, I guess you could say, clear in terms of what we are doing. And Jeremy Brew, says Raymond Taylor. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Need sun, not overcast weather. So, showing here Zach Crawley earlier on. I think there was an accidental replay they just showed. 92.8 at the Oval. 160 runs left. It's getting closer. And like I said, if they can cut this down to 150 and then in the next session get it down to under 100, we know that Travis Head will be aggressive once he starts finding the middle of the bat. He ducks under that one, though. That is the concerning factor. Is where Mark Wood puts it shorter. The benefit that he's got is the fact that it's only going at about 135 Ks rather than the 150 that we normally see from Mark Wood. Also, we have got True Boss Nazi Williams watching both at the same time. And from 383 to 160 runs. And they've still got the 7 wickets in hand, which I think is the massive benefit for the Australians. If they lose one of these two, they bring out Mitchell Marsh, who was able to get himself the 100 in one of his last tests. They've also got Alex Carey, who's a very decent batsman, and Jimmy Ando needs a Sid Barnes-like spell to win. He's been lackluster, unfortunately, throughout this Ashes series, Jimmy Anderson. Stuart Broad now hanging up the boots, hanging up the international career. I wonder at what stage we see Anderson considering the same thing. And maybe Anderson was considering it, but now that not Root, now that Broad has done it, he might be thinking, oh, I've got to hang on for one more series, perhaps. 160 runs for Smith. Oh, Smith can do it, says the way we roll. When will Joe Root get a bowl? I'd say in the next session is when we'll see him. On a rugby note, all the European games next week are all full tests, says Hanoi, so they will affect the rankings for those ones. But Ireland playing Italy, Scotland playing France, and Wales playing England. That will be all this weekend. We will be covering hopefully a couple of those games on the channel. And love the ABs, but Warriors slightly ahead. Could be history, says Nazi Williams. That is true. They're doing brilliantly. I feel like if I don't cover the game, maybe my parents will be able to. But then the last thing we want is to end up with a copyright strike from the NRL, which they have done in the past. For people, Marsh, I expect fireworks from Marsh, says we roll. And the wires with Hanoi's fire there. And back what I missed. I think you were here for the Labuschagne wicket, if I'm not wrong. Teams all just, but other than that, just a good partnership here of over 50 runs between these two. And that's another 4 runs to Steve Smith managing to whip it off his pads. You can see Stokes' body language at the moment saying, we need to get a wicket soon. And got to get on a massive bender if the Warriors win, says Nazi. Do you think the Warriors will the beard? Maybe. It's something that's happened in the past for them, although it's normally in the group stage or the round robin games that it ends up happening. So, yeah, who knows? Hopefully not. Hopefully they can keep that momentum going. When Broad goes, will there be a new player in the English team? Yes. Yeah, they will have to find a replacement or at least add another player in Broad's absence. Under 100 runs, Marsh will explode. Well, that's the thing. He may end up getting to go out to the middle and just enjoying it. Just go out there, have a bit of a whack. Travis Head, if it gets to under 100 runs, I think that he'll do a little bit of the same. As Smith at the other end is set, I think that Head will start smacking this ball all around the park. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck playing centre at 4, replace Pompey. I don't know, says Nate. It's a risk with Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, I think, because he has been playing for about a year and a bit in Union. And I'd say that it's a risky time to bring him back so close to finals games. Definitely when, you want him to be back in that league mindset before heading back over. Prediction for the World Cup this year. I think there's a few sides that have a decent chance of taking it out. Unfortunately, New Zealand, I'm not sure if they're one of them. They'll be the end of the over. Smith retains the strike. It's 255 for 3. Sorry, 235 for 3. Great stuff. What do you think the Aussies versus All Blacks do this weekend? I'm thinking an even bigger smack incoming, says Enzo. I think it should hopefully be close. New Zealand will make a few changes due to some players just being extremely active throughout this rugby championship. Bledisloh's already in the cabinet, so on New Zealand soil, I'd like to see maybe one more debut, whether that's Dallas McLeod or Summer Penifina, if not both. And RTS be like Benji when he comes back, or when he came back, says Raymond. And Broncos fans going off like always, says Blues Nate. And if they win the cup, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck won't walk back in next year. And I think the way that it's got to be, because he ditched them to play Union. So they've got to remember that and go, we've got boys here who have played the whole season. They played while RTS left us, and they're still playing when he comes back. So they should be the players, I believe, who take priority. Pompey signed on another 2 years, so they obviously rate him. Says Nazi, yeah, that backline for the Warriors. There's some great players throughout there. I remember watching, I think it was Montoya in a preseason game that we covered on the channel, and he was just tearing it up when it's the Aussies playing New Zealand next in the cricket. I think it's a couple months' time. They play them in shorter formats, but they don't play them at test match cricket for a little while still. We're charging in again. Picked up the 1 wicket. Head ducks underneath and imagine the premiership winning. I centre saying, who are you, son? Says Annoy. And yeah, CKN hasn't given up his spot for RTS's return. Currently, in terms of the percentages of win for this game, 53% chance that England win it, 46% chance that Australia win it, and the draw slash tie is 1%. Now, England had about 70% in their favour earlier on. This partnership has changed things once again. He plays well. And just to keep that ball down, a little bit of pop off the surface, and they have got the man at bat pad on the leg side. Harry Brook just trying to put a little bit of something extra in Travis Head's mind, telling him he should have gone over the top with that one. I just saw the Argentina 15 got cited for a takeout of box player. Says Yenzel, so that would be a Juan Cruz Malia, wasn't it, from that first charge down that he had in the game? He played again, but Travis Head is really jumping to that leg side, which means if you can get a Yorker on off stump, Travis Head, maybe that could be where he just tries to reach. He isn't able to get there. We've still got 3 minutes remaining in this session, which I believe means we will get one more over of spin before the end of it. If this partnership gets broken, will England have more chance of winning? Yep, they will. And I'd say that their percentage of winning will probably go up by about 5 to 10%, somewhere around there. True RTS, that humble kind of guy who wouldn't want the slot straight in. Ooh. Get their hands down there, Travis Head. 147 more runs. Let's go, Smith. Is the way we roll. Yeah, it's looking a lot better now for Australia compared to what it was at the start of the day. They still had a long way to go around that 250 mark. Now with it only sitting at 147, it's been an eventful session for the Australians, but they've still been able to tick over quite a few nice runs. As Volkman been playing off the bench, I can't recall last few weeks. Someone else have to help you with that one. Oh, Bearstow getting in trouble for moving too early or something here. Stepping across to the side, and Delaney time the man. And how's old George Hamish? Haven't seen him on for a while. Says, does he? He's still doing well. He's actually been around the last 2 days. Oh. Okay, so they are just checking the legality, is the word that NASA is saying used, for whether or not Johnny Bairstow is allowed to jump to the side the way that he is. And Volk's been plying his trade and reverse grade for now. So just asking the question of how much movement is he allowed. I don't think he's happy about it. Google has England at 17% and Australia at 53%. Oh, and then it's the rest for the draw. There'll be a 30% chance of a draw according to the internet. Rather, oh, that's a chance taken by Stokes. Oh, was there an inside edge? Stokes, I think, was celebrating. He jumped. He took it. Are they going to go upstairs for this? It landed on the ground, but did he have it held for long enough? Let's review it. They are checking it now. Did he hold? I swear he tapped it from one hand, slightly chucked it up, held it in the other for a second, and then dropped it. So are they going to consider this as a legal catch if Ben Stokes, or if Steve Smith, sorry, has got an edge on it? This is right at the end of the first session as well. This could be a massive wicket. Stokes doesn't look happy, though. He thinks he might have dropped it in the celebration. Steve Smith will say it's not out, but we know that Steve Smith, if he gets bowled, he'll say it's not out. Right. Does he get bat on it? I believe he did. It's the glove, so it hits the glove. The question mark here is whether or not this is a legal catch from Ben Stokes. The umpires gave it as not out. I believe Ben Stokes dropped that ball through accidentally. He held it. He had it in his hand. He took the catch. It was in it. He went to celebrate. This is an interesting one because they'll try and decide whether or not Stokes has the catch for long enough. He has dropped the ball. It's going to be called as no catch. Take from Ben Stokes. He went to throw it up in celebration, and they now say no, not out. This is a massive call. And I think it's going to be, yet again, controversy in the Ashes. As they're like Stark in the earlier game, not quite, no. Pretty much what happened is Ben Stokes, he took the catch above his head, the hand came down, and as he was going to throw it up in celebration, the ball has gone forward rather than going up where he was going to throw it, and it's going to be called as no wicket, not out. And now they lose their review as well. Controversy, says William, and Stokes not stoked, says Nazi Williams. All the umpires are going to have a chat here about whether or not England lose their review. And the umpires have decided, so he caught it and then dropped it. Pretty much, yeah. He caught it above his head. If he had just put his arm down like he normally would, it would have been called as a catch. The thing is, though, if not for that ball traveling forward the way it did, that ball would have been thrown up in the air and it would have been the catch. And this will cause both ways, no matter what is given exactly right. And it's unfortunate that it was Steve Smith batting because we know that he definitely wouldn't have been happy. But it was a great take from Ben Stokes. Because the hand hits the leg, it means that it's going to be not out. Maybe like Herschel Gibbs. I think his name was mentioned, to be honest. They actually said it, and they also mentioned Mitchell Stark, but I feel like that Gibbs comparison is a lot better. Come on, Australia says Immortal Wolf. Catch is really confused, taking or not. See, they're saying about how he didn't contain or he didn't have complete control of that ball. But to be honest, like, it's an interesting one. Because, like, for me, Stokes was disappointed though. But the crazy thing is, all he had to do was chuck that ball slightly further up in the air, and that's considered out. But because the ball was not chucked up and instead out, it becomes not out. But the Ashes rolls on. We've had our controversy throughout the series, and that is going to add to it. But that would have been a massive wicket for England right before the end of the first session, and a much needed wicket for the overall outcome of this test match. Now, I believe the rain is only about maybe 5 minutes away from starting. Smith hits it down the ground for one, and that will be the end of the session. Australia sitting 238 for three. Who's a catch drop? It was actually Ben Stokes. So they are just talking at the moment for the umpire. Okay, so Ben Stokes is just asking the question. He's saying, like, he caught it and then went to throw it up, and then that is when the catch is down. Travis Head taps him on the back. To be honest, like, I honestly feel if it was Travis Head on strike, I believe he would have probably walked. To be completely honest. Steve Smith on strike, no chance. Not at all. And should they keep the review, though? I think that's what they are now checking to see. But it is lunch, says Hensel. But I believe because England went up for the review, that is why they might lose it here. And I hope England don't whine about this later, says Hillary. And England's, or next one, England gets the wicket and lost controls, says Blues Nate. And yeah, plenty of discussion the English players with the umpires as they make their way off the field. Final of the Ashes fighting are never ending for both sides, says Vishal. But the rain, it is supposed to be starting in 14 minutes' time. It's supposed to get relatively heavy in around 50 minutes, which is roughly when they are going to be making their way back out onto the field. In fact, a little bit after. But it's just that question mark of whether it will be the case or that the rain delays us a little bit. But we will be taking around a 14-minute break, ladies and gentlemen. The next session, with the fact that it went for an extra 5 minutes or so, we will be back at around one moment. We'll go like this. We will be back at local time of, where is it? There we go. Second session. I believe it's going to be coming back at about 1:05 New Zealand time. 1:05. Like that. And it will be 2:05 as the local time. I'll put that there. Stick that down the bottom for while we are away. Refill the coffee mug, says William there. If you think about 146 runs from 70 overs as an easy chase, it is. But it is whether or not it is going to be able to have the 70 overs for this day. I believe we're only going to get maybe around 45 to 50 overs remaining, which even then is an easy enough chase, you would think. And Kiwi Lad drops the ball as commentated by the Kiwi Lads, says Hensel, and the cookies jar, says Blues Nate, and yep, says Nate. And there as well. But theoretically, Australia shouldn't be able to get to the total that they require by the end of this next session. But there is a chance that if the rain stays away, we will see a victor in session number 3. But the afternoon session is supposed to run from 2:05 p.m. local time or 1:05 a.m. New Zealand time right through to 4:20 p.m. local time, which is 3:20 a.m. New Zealand. Will Pears be fuming right now? Says Hanoi. Probably. It was a brilliant chance for the English to be able to take that wicket. The final session can end at 5:40 a.m. New Zealand time, but depending on how much rain there is around will depend on how much more of the cricket we do end up covering. For now, though, there is no rain, so there is still hope that we will be able to cover a majority of the next session of play. But thank you all very much for being here. While we are away, we will end up, I guess we've got a few options, don't we? I was going to just put the scoreboard up and then have it that we were going to be back. But what I might do instead is I'll go like this. And I'll go Australia needs 146 runs in 70 overs to win. Go like that. With that scrolling across the bottom. And also, while we are at it, we'll add, this is just me brainstorming on the spot, ladies and gentlemen. We'll add another one, which is Australia are sitting 238 for 3. And we'll add that there, off to the side. And then on this one, we will go like this. And put, yeah, Smith on 40 off how many? 61. 1. And Travis Head is on 31 off 53. There we go. Behind the scenes action here. There we go. Look at that. Lovely. That's cool, just like the TV. Says Annoy and catch the ball, Moldy Boy. Says Blues Nate. What we can do while we are away, rather than having it as the blank screen of just the scoreboard with a little bit of background music, what I can actually do is put one of the GoPro cricket videos on so you guys have something more to watch during the break, which is about 30 minutes or so. So that way you'll be able to see a little bit more of something in there. So what we'll do is, oh, what's happened there? That's all right. Go like this. Look through for GoPro batting. Go like that. And we'll also present another video file for while we are away as well. And that will be the first game that we played. Where is that? GoPro cricket. That'll be it. There we go. Added that one. So what we will have, ladies and gentlemen, we will be popping away for a little bit of time, going to get a snack and whatnot. But while we are away, we will have the GoPro cricket on for you guys to watch something while we are away. But nonetheless, enjoy the action. I might be back for about a minute in between just because I do have to start up the next video straight afterwards. I will see you all for the second session in a very short moment. Bit different on the Kiwi Lads channel. In this video, I am going to be showing a cricket match that I took part in not too long ago. It was Waimate taking on Timaru Boys High School, but Timaru Boys, they were batting first. They managed to set a total of 256 for 7 off their 40 overs. It was always going to be a tough chase, but if you do enjoy and you want to see more of this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I do hope you all enjoy.
Shot. That's nice.
Come field that. No, I'm fielding. I just said that. Fielding.
Oh, that's good. You need the odd one. They're not going to put them all nicely on me. Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
That means I'm now going out there. Oh no. Hello, boys. Thank you.
Okay, here's the Kiwi Lads going out to bat at number 3.
Hello there.
Have fun.
Thanks, bud. Where's mother? Hello.
Hey? He's just moving away from you a little bit. That's about it.
Yeah.
Just wait for the dead ball.
Okay.
Have fun.
Alrighty. Cheers. Centre.
One for the GoPro here, lad. One for the GoPro.
At centre. Well.
Virgin music here, John. Virgin music. Come on, lad. Oh, he's playing.
This is new.
One for the GoPro here, James. One for the GoPro. Yeah, one for the subscribers here, lad.
I didn't expect this.
Come on, James. Come on, lad. One for the chest guard. See if it works here, lad.
No run.
Don't want to get a duck here, lads. Don't want to get a duck. Come on. Oh, yes, boys.
Well left.
Okay. Okay. They'll look quite cool. No run. Ooh.
Oh, he survived the first over. Phew.
Good man. The score is the same. Swinging away from you.
Okay.
Apparently he's gone on swing.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Okay. No run. What number are you betting, Andrew?
10.
10. Oh, why so low?
So you guys have a go.
Oh no.
No run. Yes.
Get there, get there.
Go there.
That'll do, mate. That'll do.
Oh,
Yeah, Rossi. Yeah, lock one.
well bowled. Yes! Just one.
Up and in.
Okay. Oh, I start shaking when Hamish is on strike. It is nerve-wracking watching your boy.
Centre.
Yep, that's in there.
Nice.
Good video, eh?
No run!
Hasn't middle one yet, lads. Come on.
You're right about that. No run! Ooh. Sorry. Wait, why am I apologising?
I didn't think I was to
I
start.
don't think I'm supposed to apologise to the bowler when I hit it hard, is it?
No, it was nice. Nice shot.
I'm enjoying it, it's good.
Is your shoelace undone?
Yes.
God, you bruised. This is the second one I've had to do up.
You only get a single knot, it's not quite long enough for the double.
It's alright, that's all I was going to do.
Thank you. Yes! Yes!
Shot!
2 runs there. Yeah. Just 2.
The GoPro's playing coming down, you can't see.
I know, it just keeps on going over. Good call. All it's going to hear for audio is just me puffing after a single.
You want to know how unfit you are.
No run. Oh.
Over ball.
Good call for that leg side one. I had no idea where that went.
That's my fault, so it's all good.
You hope it turned on.
Oh, it'd be a shame if it wasn't. I've actually scored a run. No run.
Down. Building.
Ooh,
Reverse swing there, Lowe's. Bit of reverse swing.
bit of seam there too.
One for the subscribers here, Lowe's. Come on, boy.
Waiting. No run. Oh, okay. Oops. That was good. How much did that miss the stunts by, Murray? Half an inch. Waiting. No run.
Gotta hold the pose here, lads. Gotta hold the pose. Come on, boys.
No run. Same bowler, yep. Okay.
Big spill.
Well played, no run.
Right there, mate. Down, please.
All right. Ooh. No run. Yes. Look for 2. Yes. Great shot. Waiting. No run. Nice shot. Looks like it's going to be maybe another one. Got the endurance, these boys.
Young.
Yeah,
Young, mate.
I'm supposed to be
Well,
young.
you like to be young.
I run a single and I'm puffed. Oh,
Bit of seam there, boys, bit of seam.
Taking his time, the Kiwi lad. Getting his eye in.
that bat might have been quite close, was
I'm still good. 6 inches away.
it?
Subscribers are falling asleep here, lads. Come on. They want some shots here. Come on, boys. Make them play.
No run! Oh, waiting. Nah, still no.
Boring here, lads. Pretty bored. Run rate's looking pretty sad here, lads. Come on.
Yes! Oh no!
Why'd you put that in there?
Huh?
Why'd you put that one in there?
Just glided it,
I
didn't I?
know, you did. Straight
hit
to the
it.
fielder. You're like,
Coach, you alright? Falling over. Where you going? We gotta get a post-match analysis.
Really?
Yep.
Oh god.
I'm here with the coach on his knees.
What do you want me to stand?
No, we could stand.
Oh yeah.
We might not be able to get back up afterwards.
yeah.
So, how'd we go?
It was an interesting game. It was a game of two halves.
Most cricket is.
No, it was good. Yeah, we learnt some lessons. We struggled a wee bit in the field. Isaac missed a couple of easy catches that sort of hurt things
Bit brutal.
a wee bit.
I recall the coach running away from a ball.
Yeah, what happened there when you went the wrong way?
Well, you
Well-
should get some insight into that too, because I think you did the same thing.
It's a booth thing, isn't it?
It's not a booth thing.
No, he took a couple catches.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, no. And then batting wise, we struggled a wee bit, but we looked good for a while, and then just fell off a wee bit in the end. But very good, very good Timaru boys side.
Very good. Line and length, words of the day.
Yes, definitely line and length. Yep. Yeah, outside off stump. All right.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You were probably plum LB, but it's alright. You're this end, Jacob. Have fun.
Left arm over. Yep. Left arm over. Left arm, yep.
Have we got a lefty in our team, like bowling wise? This is new.
Yeah. Yep.
Fun. Yes!
Shot.
Push to 2. Yep, 2. Good shot. Yep. Push to 2. Yep.
What's the YouTube channel?
The Kiwi lads. Waiting, yes! Do you want it?
Yep. Run it. Run it.
It's 50 here. Good 50. Bigger 50.
Yep. 2 there. Yes. Yep. 2 there.
Oh,
That's a nice ball.
that's a cracker.
Well,
That's a good ball. Well, I hope this camera doesn't capture my buddy's stomach rumbling. They were thinking it's thunder.
Yep. Push to 2. No, just 1. Yep.
Oh,
Waiting this time. No, again. Yep.
Shot.
Run 2 there. Yes. Just 2. Yep. 2 there. What are you running, Toos?
Yeah, no.
Yep. Push for 2. You sure you got it? Just 1.
come on.
Just because it felt like a thick outside edge doesn't mean it's going. We almost had 3 for that one.
Yeah, my bad.
Yep. Oh, that'll do.
All right.
Yep. 2 there. Yep. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll take 1. We'll be
Yeah.
Sorry about that one. Oh, the almighty French cut. Just 1. Yep. Just 1. Yep. It's a nice shot, 2 there. Oh. I'll take it. Yep. How's your head going?
Yeah.
Yep. Push for 2.
And again.
Yep.
Oh. Not bad. Yeah. Oh yes, that isn't it?
So,
Over. Let's have a drink, eh?
oh, absolutely.
Murray, come and talk to me.
Jeez, it's hot under there.
Can I go to the toilet with this on?
Is that a cracker?
One.
No. Oh yeah. How about? Yep. Push for 2. Do that. Where you going, Jacob? Where you going? Yep. That was close. It's alright, we got through.
Yeah, it's right.
That's all good. Just growing.
Yeah, it's good footage, I guess.
Oh, no run. Pretty well better though. Hello, my friend.
Yeah. Saw myself asleep on the side.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
The groin's giving way a little bit, so probably not too many quick singles taken.
That's
But I'll try my best to run them for you. Yep. Oh. Oh. The juggle. Yep. Push it 2 there. Yep, 2. Yeah, I'm good.
feeling it.
Yep. I'm looking like a 75-year-old man.
I know, you definitely are. You wait till you see yourself. Shot.
Yep. Great placement.
4 runs.
Yep. Just 1. Yep. Push for 2. Yep. Oh, sorry.
What a field deal, Louise!
I've got this habit of hitting fielders with the ball. Yep. Push for 2 this time. Yep.
Should have been keepers.
I wasn't diving.
Yes.
Yep. 2 again. Yep. Oh. This is what our chats are going to become. I think my ass is out. Groin. It's all good. Shot. We're not running those. We'll come have a chat though. Keep it loose. Yeah. I've sat on the chair doing live streams for like 3 years. This season's the first time I've moved in ages. Yep. Yep.
Well done, Hamish.
Thank you. Yep.
Shot.
Just 1 though. Oh
Yeah.
no, you're gonna get 4.
Shot.
Just 1. Or 4.
4.
They go boundary?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say or else I'm in trouble.
Well done, Hamish.
Thank you.
Hey, good work.
Yep.
fielding.
Just one.
Good arm.
Yep.
Over, Bob.
Right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the second session of day number 5. Now, they're just showing the controversy that did actually hit just before the end of session number 1. And it's going to be an interesting second session, that is for sure. And not just because there is supposed to be rain around. At the moment, it says it's raining, but that does not quite seem to be the case. I think there's only maybe a little bit of drizzle at the ground as we currently sit. Also, alongside that, it's supposed to be 100% chance of rain for the next hour, and then every hour up till the end of the play, it's going to be at least a 50% chance that we do see some sort of rain. So I would say at this point, it is going to be a very interesting session. And very funny, Kiwi Lad, what a bully, says GB. The worst thing is the only games that we got to film this year were played up against the younger players. Like, we had so many other matches either called off up against adult sides, or like I just wasn't available for those games. Sadly, for one of the games that I would have been available for, I actually had to leave halfway through the game to then take part in a live stream that I had. So we do play adults as well. It's just a mixed grade. It looks like there's a little bit of rain falling at the moment, though. Then saying that as well, just in my defense, that game that you guys saw where I scored my 50, that was only my 3rd game back after 10 years being away. So I wasn't actually expecting to do very well in the batting department. Just showing the drizzle. Hopefully nothing too much more serious than that. If it is, then this could be a relatively short session, I would say. And Hamish, bro, your partner looks hurry up in the chasing. 183 target counter attack on the bowling side, says Vishal. The rain is too heavy, and the players now are going to be making their way off the field. Interestingly enough, though, the pitch was uncovered throughout pretty much a majority of that lunch break, which would mean that when we do return, there could be a bit of moisture in the surface. Looks like a lot of people are now making their way up out of the rain, getting their umbrellas, getting back into the stand. So close run-out chase or run-out chance, says Vishal. Yeah, there was one where he was slightly casually running and then almost ended up getting himself run out. Now they are just talking about whether or not they will actually manage to get enough play in this match. But the fact that we've got rain delaying now makes it a little bit sad, definitely because the momentum was building quite nicely to be an action-packed test match. Looks like they are just rolling out the covers, and they are bringing out the relatively big cover, which means that we could have a bit of a stoppage here. By the looks of the rain forecast, it's supposed to stop raining at around maybe 4 p.m. local time, maybe even 5 p.m. local time, which would actually mean that we miss all of session number 2 by the looks of it. How many series win Australia has in England versus England series in Australia? That's a very good question. I don't actually know the answer to that one. And Boo Rain, thanks for the streams. I thought I'll pop in before I jump on BattleBit, says TPW. Yeah, I was hoping we'd get a relatively full second session. Like they've said, the rain just doesn't seem to want to stay around or stay away. That's not rain, that's a New Zealand mist, says GB. Ben Stokes already actually up, probably watching his catch on replay. Right, what is the go here? Looks like Bairstow and Root just having a bit of a chat to the umpires. They don't want to be off the field for too much longer than they need to be. Now, Australia, when they do eventually get themselves another chance to go out onto the field, if that chance does become possible, they will have to make a big decision, and that is how quickly do they want to try and score the runs. They're just saying it's not really that heavy for the rain, but it looks like now the English team are actually going to be making their way back into the changing room. And Hamish Bro, your teammate, playing aggressive cricket, says Michelle, he was, although I did cut out a lot of the balls that he was blocking for that innings. I think he probably faced around the same amount of deliveries as myself. Stuart Broad, before making his way back into the pavilion, has decided to stop and sign a few autographs. And what? No shirt and tie, says GB. Not for this one, no. It's not a regular occurrence on the channel, just for those real big matches that we have done in the past. But yeah, it will only be like a once every couple months thing, probably. We might have it next weekend just in case, but maybe not. Pitch is not offering anything for bowlers in the fourth innings. I disagree. I think that the seam has been pretty prominent. We saw quite a bit of spin from Moeen Ali. I think, if anything, it has offered so much more than we have seen in prior days, and also probably more than we've seen in previous test matches between these two sides. I think that England will certainly want to get back out there to bowl, because we've seen how dangerous that can be with the amount of movement. Stuart Broad was moving it nicely. Chris Wokes, he bowled phenomenally, pitching that ball up. And then Moeen Ali and Mark Wood at the end of the session. Currently, we have got ads here in New Zealand, and I believe that will be the way that it stays for a little while until we get an update in terms of when they'll be making their way back out onto the field. The rain is supposed to stick around for the next hour at least, and I believe that that is going to be going through till about maybe 3 a.m. New Zealand time, which is actually around an hour and 45 minutes away. Now, there's a chance that it gets a little bit lighter and we do get some chance of play, but as soon as that rain gets too heavy, that is when it's going to be very tricky to get enough time in to be able to get either the 7 wickets or those 146 runs. Theoretically, England, 7 wickets. I'd like to think that they could get that done if they pick up a couple early wickets and maybe around a session and a bit, somewhere around there. If they are very lucky for Australia, the 146 runs needed. If they were scoring at 5 runs and over, they would take 30 overs to be able to chase that down. So they may even have to look to be even more aggressive if they get to go back out there and look to score at about that 8 runs and over, so that it only takes around 22. But even 22 overs with the weather forecast, it may be a little bit tricky overall. But now I guess we're in that predicament of what do we do during this rain delay if it is going to be just the delay rather than the rain abandoning play. Could end up leaving the stream running for a little bit longer just in case, to give a few updates on what is going to be happening. Or the other option, of course, unfortunately, could be that today's live stream, we might be at the end of it because of the amount of rain expected. And instead we will have to watch it maybe in the morning if the rain is going to be the way that it is. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, do you think we will get to see a result in this test match, or will it instead be the rain as the real winner? Broad hit last ball for 6 for his retirement, says Coding. So yeah, certainly something he will be able to remember for a long time if play resumes. Should Australia chase hard, just bat out for a draw? I believe they'll do a little bit of both, depending on when the wickets fall for them. Like, Travis Head's the type of batsman who can be as aggressive as needed in terms of, let's say they say to him, hey, we need you to chase down 7 runs and over. He'd go, yeah, okay. And he wouldn't even hesitate. Steve Smith, I think it would be a lot harder to convince him to play that same way. But we might just get an update here in terms of the rain. I know they are just talking about the 100. Never mind, not quite a pitch update, but it does look like it's supposed to be relatively heavy and relatively wet for a while. Unfortunately, Tuesday's fine. Wednesday is expecting rain. Thursday the same. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all expected to get a little bit of rain. So it was always going to be tough to fit in this test match. I think they would definitely go for the win to make the this one-sided series win 3-1. He's coding, and I think definitely after that controversial catch of Ben Stokes, the Australians will more than likely look to be aggressive, because they want to make sure that they get the win rather than it going, oh, but what if this was the chance? What if Steve Smith was going to be out? Right, they are just showing there the Trent Rockets taking on Southern Brave in the 100 at 2:30 p.m. local time, so that will be 1:30 a.m. New Zealand. So that is in about 15 or so minutes. Now it's looking very grey. Not very good news. It is raining steadily. Not as heavy as it was yesterday when play was completely abandoned, but still heavy enough. Okay. They're thinking at the moment, with the fact that they're not rushing to cover the square, that it's not going to be an absolutely huge rain delay. But I would say that that's still at least an hour. Unless we get very lucky and it could be around 30 minutes. If the rain does end up pulling up a little bit. So unfortunately, on that note, I think that we are close to the end of this live stream. I wanted to see a result for the final day of the Ashes, the final Ashes test of 2023, and there is a chance that we still see that. It's just that it might be about 2 or 3 hours, worst case scenario, before they get back out onto the field, but more than likely around that hour or so. Still 14 overs away from the new ball, like they've just mentioned. So England, they would have wanted to have one last crack at the Aussies, and there still is that chance. Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is where coverage will be coming to a close. But I have appreciated every single one of you for being here throughout the Ashes series. We've done a lot of these live streams in the middle of the night here in New Zealand. Looking forward, of course, to 2025 when it takes place in Australia. There'll be some decent hour live streams for us here, but it's been an exciting series. Both sides will walk away from this one with a lot of memorable moments. Well, at least we can go to bed now, says Jared. And yeah, it's either going to be we go to bed and wake up in the morning and find out, oh, that rain only lasted 5 minutes, or we'll wake up in the morning and maybe see a draw due to lack of time being played. But yeah, it's been a good series. Overall, man of the match or man of the series at the moment, a tricky one to choose because, I mean, we're seeing some great batting from Zach Crawley at times. We're seeing some great batting from Usman Khawaja at times throughout the series, some great bowling. It's very tricky to actually pick a man of the series. Stuart Broad's right up there, to be honest, with the way he's been able to bowl throughout. Mitchell Starc, also probably honourable mention in terms of those bowling options throughout it. Yeah, I think nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning into this Ashes series. We will be back for the 2025 one, and hopefully they get some play in by the end of the day. I thought before the series, England will Bazball Australia and win the series 3-1, but it's the opposite which has happened, says Coding. Although you do wonder, of course, what could have been without the rain that we've had. This one was just starting to heat up. The bigger covers are now coming onto the ground, so they are putting the extended covers on, which normally by the time they clean all the water off and dry the outfield, it's a good hour and a half before we will see some play. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next